if any of those people, whether it's the dudes or the dudettes, want to come on, you could tell them.
Yeah, so far the only person I think would be suitable would be probably my friend Andy.
Alright, is it streaming now?
I don't see.
I was streaming.
No stream.
Give us the stream.
We are live. It took some time.
It is live.
Hello? Oh, I have the notification that says that we're live. I'm just gonna click on it.
We are living.
Oh, there's 6 people watching already. Hello.
The one. Do you know who's watching? The one.
It was the people on the Discord that we lied to when I said we were live 10 minutes ago.
Okay, well, clearly can't play that.
I'm gonna tweet.
Do we look laggy if I wave my hand on the screen? What like?
My thing's not loading it, so I can't help you.
Elijah Gamer is there? Alright, this is the time where I guess we can tweet out everything.
Yes. I don't see any lag on my end, but I think we
looks good. So the last time there was a thing to where I had it set for an Intel CPU, and I was using AMD.
Yeah.
So it looking weird, but I think we got it.
Ambient.
Alright. Send out your tweets and whatnot, guys.
I normally just let Daniel do it and then I retweet it.
Nice.
I'm the worst co-host. Why do you have me on here? I don't do anything. I just show up once a week and I'm like, what's up, guys?
Except last week, where you didn't even show up.
Shh. What was I doing last week?
Your job, right?
Yeah, I think that was it.
I don't remember my days anymore. I need to look at my calendar.
I did a tweeter. I don't know if you guys saw, by the way, Nintendo of Europe tweeted last night, or was it early this morning? But they announced the Octoling amiibos.
Oh yeah!
And I got a little excited. There's a 3-pack, so there's Octoling Boy, Octoling Octopus Form, and the Octoling Girl. The 3 of them. I don't know what to call it.
Octoling Octopus Form.
What else do you call it? Anyways, they look real good. I have the OG Splatoon 3-pack, but not any of the other ones from Splatoon, unfortunately.
My YouTube is broken.
There was a comment on a video the other day that was talking about they started it off with Ilya Rose in small letters, but it was properly capitalized. And then everything after that was capitalized, and it was like, I really want you to make a 2-hour theory video on Majora's Mask because it deserves it, and blah blah blah. And I'm like, I don't think I could write a 2-hour theory on a video.
That's too long of a video.
Yeah.
No one would watch we'd put in so much work to make a 2-hour video that no one would watch, because they'd be like,
no one would watch a 2-hour video. We do 2 to 3.
That's where we cover several different topics, at least. Not just one theory for 2 hours. I just feel like you'd just go in circles after a certain amount of time. You'd explain everything, and then it's okay, now we've got 1 hour and 50 minutes.
Let me find a way to re-explain what I just explained.
Let's just go over this again.
I'm gonna do something, and then...
He's back!
I left the call and then rejoined, so maybe the problems are gone now, because it was...
What were your problems?
People said it was lagging.
Really? No one else said it was lagging? I didn't see anyone say it was lagging. I quote, JC Ram, looks good to me. The one, not laggy.
And Master Battlecat says, hello!
Hello!
So that doesn't imply lag at all to me. Yes. Jesse, you good now? So Squirrel.
I have to match the artwork.
Yeah, I'm wearing a blue shirt. I almost
Where did the shirt that he drew come from? Have you worn a shirt like that?
I have a gray shirt that has the crest on it. But
I think it was just
blue shirts, so
I think he was just finding ways to like make us all look kind of like Legend of Zelda nerdy. Because I don't know what shirt I was wearing. I also don't know what was going on with my female shadowing in that, but it was very weird. But it was very good. But
female shadowing.
He gave people boobs.
Yeah, I don't have those.
Alright.
I think he was just trying to like put like distinguish us from each other, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
you have
this
your
is
link
a
hats,
girl.
which is perfect.
This is a guy.
He got my hair doing this little uppity thing that I usually try and make it do and it doesn't cooperate. He drew my hair better than he drew my hair the way I wish my hair looked.
Wait, Jacob said it was lagging. Jacob, is it still lagging?
Jacob, no.
No, it looks
I don't
good
see it
online.
looking laggy from my side.
Yeah. Oh, there it lagged. I don't know. That'll be fixed soon, here in like a few months. So.
Dude, my setup is so dark.
All right, are we? It's
So
going
dank.
through its emo phase.
It's a dank setup. That's what it is.
You guys are so bright compared to me, and I already have all my lights on.
I've got a window right here.
Yeah.
And
this
all I do is
so
I just open the
bright,
blinds.
My hand disappears. That's how bright.
Oh
it
wow.
is.
Look,
What is that?
what is what, a window? Well, you see.
Yeah, what's a window?
It's heaven.
It's Jesse, don't go to the light.
Sponsored by England.
Don't go to the light.
All right, pulling your legs. Same. These streams are awesome. We haven't even done anything, Jan.
We haven't started technically,
right,
but
are you guys
appreciate
ready?
it.
Are you guys?
Yeah, let's do this.
Yes.
Let's get down to business.
Where is?
Wow.
All right. Show
Let's
notes.
get down to
Everybody got the
business.
show notes.
Oh, what?
The show notes. The Google Doc.
Yeah, no, I got it.
All right, Kayla,
have
give
a
me,
long
give me a
nap.
countdown.
Does it have to be verbal? Can you look at me? Do you see this?
Alright.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's up, everybody? I am Jesse, or Game Over Jesse, as all of you may know me. This is episode 48 of the Hylian Gamescast. Today, we have Capt Bergerson
Hello.
and Chiblima, our two awesome co-hosts. Before we get started, we have shoutouts for our Patreons, because at the end of the show, we answer questions sent in by fans like yourself, where we try to answer as many as possible. Sometimes we don't have enough time to answer all of the questions we get sent. Like today, we have dozens of questions. So if you'd like your question guaranteed to be answered, you can become a Patreon, where you get a bunch of other awesome stuff. Even sometimes maybe join on the podcast with us, or other scripted Zelda theories and whatnot. Anyways, a huge thank you goes to Jacob, Michael, Elmer, Bootleg Boy, Gus, Justin, That One Pancake, Key of Time 15, Monica, Casey, Link Use the Triforce, Megan, Lunarium, Robbie, Shadow to Us, Rusty Caulfield, and Lovable Christie. Today on the podcast, we're going to be talking about a lot of rumors, some really cool fan projects, and Overcooked 2. So we have rumors about a new Nintendo Switch model coming out. It's not really a rumor, but it's a very fun discussion topic. Ocarina of Time online multiplayer. There's a fan who has made his own version of Ocarina of Time that you can play online with your friends. And we are going to be doing our review, or Kayla's review, really, of Overcooked 2 on the Nintendo Switch. And finally, we are going to end it before we get to our podcast with a discussion on all of the best and worst things of Majora's Mask. So, starting us off first, this Nintendo Switch 4K rumor. The rumor comes from Marcus Sellers. Let me bring it up here. I'll have it on the screen for everyone who's watching the edited version of this. Basically, he made a tweet saying, Nintendo will be releasing an improved version of the Nintendo Switch early 2019. This console will have 8 gigabytes of RAM, 12 gigabytes of internal storage, and dynamic scaling up to 4K. Some third-party games will only release on this version. All Nintendo-produced games will release on both. He has a reply to that same comment about 10 minutes after he posted it, saying, streaming will become available with this version, Twitch in parentheses. A prime example of a game being Switch Pro only is Resident Evil 2. Of course, while we were at E3 on PlayStation's conference, they had a huge thing for Resident Evil 2 Remake being played. So, first off, he's deleted the rumor, but I took a screenshot before it was deleted. Or at least he may have deleted it and then reposted it. I don't know. But the original link that I had to the tweet was deleted. So I assume the original tweet was deleted. But again, I got the screenshot so we could discuss our thoughts on it. And I really want to say that all the people saying Nintendo wouldn't release an upgraded version of the Nintendo Switch, I've said this a million times. While I don't necessarily believe this rumor, I do believe at some point an upgraded Switch will come because they have released an upgraded version or a way to upgrade every single mobile console that they've had and almost every single home console aside from the Wii and the Wii U. Technically, the Wii had a second generation Wii that released. Took away like the online functionality, which was more of a downgrade than an upgrade, but they still had the newer version of it. But yes, the original Famicom had the disc system. The Super Famicom had its disc system. I think it also had the Satellaview that you could upgrade, play like download only games and stuff. The Nintendo 64 had the Feld 64 disc drive and the expansion pack that released that was required to play certain games. The Gamecube had the online multiplayer adapter that you would use in games like Phantom Star Online, I think that's what it was called. Some other games. And it had the Game Boy Advance expansion that upgraded it to allow you to play Game Boy Advanced games. Going with the handhelds, there was the Game Boy Color, the Game Boy Advanced had the Game Boy Advanced SP, the DS had the DS, DSi, DSi XL, DS Lite, all of those. The 3DS had the same thing, the 3DS, 3DS XL, new 3DS, new 2DS, 2DS, new 2DS XL. So yeah, like literally every single Nintendo console aside from the Wii U has had a newer, better version release for it.
Well, even the Wii U had a deluxe version that was like had more internal memory than the original release too. So
yeah, so this it would be more likely for Nintendo to release an upgraded version than not, because 90% of the time they have released a newer, better version of the console. It would make sense for them to have 4K functionality added to it, since that's really the only thing that this is missing. Aside from like minor upgrades, like having headphone capabilities on the Pro controller, whatever they're calling it. Because unlike Xbox or PlayStation, you can't plug headphones straight into it to play. You have to actually use your Switch to plug headphones into. So there are like some minor upgrades they can have, but the main thing that people are asking for is like just more power from it, so they can play games that otherwise wouldn't be able to come to it. Or if they do come to it, then they're heavily downgraded, similar to like when you play Hyrule Warriors on the Wii U, and then you go to play it on the 3DS version, and then you have to get like 2 feet away from an enemy before it pops in, otherwise they disappear. So there's a lot of stuff like that's holding the Switch back. But what do you guys think about this rumor particularly? Because again, it is likely Nintendo would release something, but I don't know if it would come this soon. I would imagine they would release it like the Switch Pro, or even if they call it a brand new console altogether. I would imagine it would come out around the same time that like the PlayStation 5 is being announced. I don't think they would release it this early. But going to you guys, starting with you, Kayla, since you happen to work for Nintendo, tell us all of the inside secrets you have. Call up Miyamoto, tell him that we want to know what's going on.
I have no inside secrets. All I have is, so far, only one person has asked if we have Smash Ultimate at the tent. But my thoughts of having like a new like Nintendo Switch Pro, like I think that would be a really cool idea, but I feel like Jesse said, it would have to be a lot later on. Because I woke up this morning to this rumor, and I just kind of like I saw the reactions, and people were like flipping out. They're like, "I just got my Nintendo Switch like a year ago," and da 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 da. Like, yeah, like I feel like an upgrade to this capacity is a little bit too soon, and at the same time, like I don't know, like we'll see what happens. But as it is, like I'm currently okay with my Nintendo Switch. I don't plan on ever like if I want to stream with it, I just use like my Elgato thing, so
yeah.
Alright. Daniel.
I pretty much am on the same page. I mean, I think it's likely they'll release a newer version of the Switch, but not next year, not 2018. Your examples, I mean, let's look at, for example, the 3DS. The 3DS originally released in 2011. And the new Nintendo 3DS XL, which was like the newer, more improved version of that, did not release till 2015. I feel like that amount of time gives a lot of consumers enough time to upgrade, or maybe jump in if they never got a 3DS in the first place, like myself. But 2 years after the console's released, that's just gonna piss people off, basically. Like, people are going to be upset. Like, they just got their Switches. Like, the Switch has not been out long enough to warrant an upgrade. So while I feel like the rumor in itself that Nintendo may release an upgraded version of the Switch may have some truth to it, Marcus Seller's rumor, just that tweet, I think it's fabricated. I think that he has no grounds for that statement at all. I did double check his Twitter. He has since deleted the tweet. He posted saying, "Oh, you know, he was getting too many." He said for undisclosed reasons, but we can infer that he was getting too much backlash, so he took it down. But I don't know. I don't know what his claimed source is. As near as I could find with the screenshots we have of his original tweet, he doesn't have a source really to cite, anyways. So I would take it with the and take that with it. So those are my thoughts.
All right.
Pretty much the same thoughts.
Because I did a quick Google search. The original 3DS released in February of 2011.
Right.
About a year and a half later, in July, so like a year and 5 months.
Right.
In July of 2012, the 3DS XL released.
Sure.
And then,
but that's really just a larger 3DS.
Yeah.
I don't think the 3DS XL was actually more powerful.
And then 3 years later, so 3 years after the 3DS XL released, we got the new 3DS. So going by like how they treated the 3DS, it released 3 years after, as opposed to. But then they also had the second upgrade in between that, the 3DS XL, which was just a larger screen.
Yeah.
So, like the Switch has been out for a year and a half.
Yeah.
Right? 2019 would make it 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, maybe, like, holiday season 2019, 2.5 years, because that's getting closer to 3 years. But I couldn't see it releasing, like, early 2019. I think that's something they would have, like, an E3 announcement in 2019, and then have it release holiday season or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then that would be, 2.5 to 3 years later. But either way, it's I don't necessarily believe that at all, because obvious reasons. But I would like to say, with the minor improvements, before we go to the next topic, what are some minor features that you would like to see if they did release this this new version of the Switch? What would you like to see? I'll start with 2 things. One is on the controllers, which we've seen Xbox update their controllers as well. PlayStation has updated their PlayStation 4 controllers. Like, if you go and buy a standard PlayStation 4 controller now, you'll get the newer version. It kind of just replaced it, so there's not 2 different models. It's just like the newer one replaced the old one.
Right.
But I would like to see Nintendo do something like that, to where they do have the headphone jack plugged in for the controller. So that would be one minor thing. And the second minor thing would be the bezel around the Switch screen. Like, there's a 1/4 to a 1/2 inch of black going around, where the screen doesn't necessarily go to the top or the bottom edges of the Switch. I would like to see the screen like 1 inch bigger. So the size of the screen is bigger, but the Switch itself is the exact same size. So you get a bigger screen, maybe update the resolution, since it will be a more powerful system. And yeah, it's just like the screen goes to the edges, similar to on like newer smartphones, where like the screen goes to the, like, straight to the edge. But those are my 2 updates. Since Kayla went first last time, Daniel, what are yours? Also, really quick,
Okay.
the headset and the thing would help. In my head, I imagine it would help a lot with online chat for, like, online multiplayer and stuff. Which I know Fortnite, you can have online chat on the Switch, but no other game supports it, which is really weird.
Yeah, but actually, it's a great segue to what I was going to say.
Looks frozen.
Oh no, I'm not frozen.
You are frozen.
Yeah, turn your
crap.
camera off
You're not
and turn it
moving.
back on. But yes, go Daniel.
Hello.
Okay, but yeah, that was a great segue, because I was going to say is right now with Switch's online services as they're announced, is you'll have to, if you want to do voice chat, have the app.
We got a $5 donation.
From Gibbs.
Oh,
it's
from Gibbs.
It's from Gibbs
Just
for
adding to-
Daniel's Mario Kart fund.
Gibbs. So here's the thing. I send Daniel money every month for being on the podcast. So he is yet to buy Mario Kart. And he gets more than enough to buy Mario Kart. So you'll just have
Daniel.
to you'll have to fight with him about that.
I will. I'm going to make this. I will buy Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on Switch the next time that I get the money. So there you go, Gibbs. Since you've donated multiple times, saying that I should get it.
Also, for everyone else, if you do have a super chat and you donate for the podcast, your question or whatever will be immediately read, just as Gibbs was just now. So if you have a question you would like to ask for Kayla, Daniel, or I, super chat is the way to do it. And back to you, Daniel. Sorry for the interruption.
Right.
It was
no,
just
it's all good.
$5. Kayla's
no, it's
frozen
always
again
good.
with her mouth open.
Or is that just how she looks?
I don't know.
No, there we go. It could the leg caught up.
Guys!
Back to you, Daniel.
Right. So right now the app on a smartphone or iPad or whatever device is needed to do like the online service. They have their app. If they were doing like a Switch Pro version, it would be really cool to just have that built into it instead of needing an extra device to do that. I just think that would be... Honestly, I think they should just do that already, but if we were saying just changes we want to make, that would be really cool. The other thing is, if we're doing 2, right? Is that right?
Si, senor.
Okay.
Or whatever.
What was the other one going to be? I did think of something while we were talking about this, and now it's slipped my brain. Oh, no. Oh, okay, nope. I lost it again. It's going to come back to me while I try and remember what I was going to say. Why don't you go ahead, Kayla?
I think probably 2 things that I would want fixed, just like off the top of my head, would be to fix like the kickstand they have, because I know a lot of people that have broken it, and it's really inconvenient because that's where weird disaster. And then I think I agree with Jesse with like kind of pushing it out so that way the entire screen is actually covered up instead of having that little bit of the border.
Right.
But other than that, I have no complaints about my console.
Cool. Alright, I did turn
I remember what my other one was now.
Microphone up for people in the chat that were asking. I did turn it up, and I'm getting closer. So you should be able to hear me now. I have it turned down, so when I upload it in the edited version, it sounds a lot better without clipping. So
okay. Sweet.
Right. So
yes,
Daniel, your last thing.
So right now, with the Switch, if you hold down the screenshot button for like a couple seconds, it'll record the last 30 seconds of gameplay. It would be nice to be able to just turn recording on, play for however long without having to worry about the time frame. So just like have a recording feature, turn it on, play for however long, and then be able to just upload that to wherever without it being limited to just a screenshot or 30 seconds.
Oh yeah, that'd be really cool.
That would be a cool function. If they're like in Marcus Seller's fake tweet, he mentions a streaming function. That would be cool too, but if we could have both, why not, right?
Yeah.
So
I like I think the PlayStation 4 it does a weird thing to where it's always, I guess the Switch is doing it too, but the Switch is only doing it for like 15 seconds to where like it's always recording the gameplay for like 15 seconds. Isn't that right?
I don't know. I didn't know that.
Yeah, like if you press the button, it'll show you the last 15 seconds of gameplay, right?
Yeah, I think so.
You can like if you hold down the capture button, it'll save the last 30. I think it's 30 seconds of gameplay.
Yeah, but like it's not the 30 seconds after you press it; it's the 30 seconds before.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's always it's constantly recording 30 seconds of footage.
I guess so.
Which is very like recording video is very taxing on like the GPU and everything.
Right.
So it makes me wonder like whenever what were you saying, Daniel? Sorry.
I mean that feature's handy though because say you're playing something and something weird and random happens and you don't have to have that moment where like, oh, I wish I had been recording.
You have the, like, I'm gonna press this button.
I'm gonna press this button and save that because that was hilarious. I've done that where I had if someone searches through my Twitter far enough back, there's one where the Guardian just like went total ragdoll and flew through the air.
I think you showed that to us.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's nice because that was a total moment where I would have been like, oh no, that was hilarious. I wish I could have recorded that. But at least I could have just saved that quick little snippet of footage. But yeah. If it was not so restricted to just 30 seconds, that would be really cool. Because maybe I want to record longer than that. I don't know, without having to set up my Elgato or yeah. So
nice.
It's good.
What I always it makes me think if it wasn't using the extra processing power to record that 15 seconds, then like would that help some of the frame rate issues, like when you go into Korok Forest in Breath of the Wild and like the frame rate drops down a lot? If it wasn't using the extra processing power to record, then
it probably would fix
it would run
that.
a bit smoother.
Yeah. because even if you just turn off the Wi-Fi, it helps. Like it not trying to connect to the Wi-Fi or whatever. Suddenly the game runs smoother at those laggy parts, and that's like not that heavy a use of the console's power, just being connected. But then, yeah, if there was a way to turn that off, that would be really cool, because then it would probably fix that issue and run things a little smoother. So,
all right, are we ready to move to the next?
Yes, let's.
All right, so I guess I don't need to open this because it's just the video. All right, so this is kind of two pieces of. I'm gonna do this again.
It's okay. You got it. I believe in you.
All right. What's up, everybody? I am Jesse. We're Game Over Jesse. Here with us is Daniel and Kayla, our amazing co-hosts. Kayla was frozen there for a second. All right, so today we're going to be talking about Ocarina of Time multiplayer. This isn't like some fan wish, kind of is, but it's actually real. You can play online Ocarina of Time, which is something that I think everyone who's played the game has wanted, to be able to play with their friend. And this isn't even playing on the same console. This is me on my computer, you on your computer. Both of us are trying to beat Bongo Bongo, or like run through the Spirit Temple, which is really cool. You can switch around your outfits and stuff. So if you would rather look like the fierce deity Link, if you would like to look like Dark Link, or have a blue tunic, a red tunic, a purple tunic, it doesn't matter. So there's a lot of character not a lot of character customization, but there's basic character customization to look like Zora Link and stuff. Basically, Tony from Hard for Games, or the guys over at Hard for Games, good friends of the channel and the podcast, posted the video where they were playing with the person who created it. I loved the video so much, thought it was such a great idea that I wanted to talk about it with you guys. I guess this will be kind of a shorter video because we're not necessarily, we're not playing through it, but when we do get it, we're going to be doing, hopefully, if Daniel and Kayla are up to it, some online hijinks, running around Hyrule and I don't know what to do in the game. Like this, the scenarios that Tony was coming up with is like if your partner is trying to climb a ladder or something, and then you shoot an arrow and knock him off. Or if you're in a room where there's like 3 block puzzles to where you have to push the blocks on the switches, and he gets 2 of them done, and he's trying to push the 3rd block, and then you go and push the 2nd block off of the switch. So like a lot of stuff where you're messing around with people. But then there's also really cool speedrunning scenarios to where you get into, maybe there's a room in the Spirit Temple to where you have to have the light shining on a target. So you have to turn a lot of mirrors so it reflects the light back and forth. And instead of turning all of the mirrors, one person could just aim the light at the other person with his mirror shield, and that person could aim the light directly at where it needs to be. Instead of having to take the time to do it correctly, you can kind of not cheat your way through it, but you could be creative to get through some of these challenges and puzzles and stuff. So there's a lot of cool ideas about it. There's also, I want to give a quick mention, you'll see it in the video, the bottom of the video right now if you're watching the edited version. Someone made fan art, I guess you could call it, of what Ocarina of Time would look like in 2D on the Game Boy Advanced. So I thought that would look really cool. The rest of the gameplay that you're probably seeing is from Hard for Games channel, of the gameplay with the 2 links running around messing with each other. It still needs to be updated a little bit, because while the characters are synced up, so you can see their character in your Hyrule, if you pick up a bush or a rock then in your friend's game, the bush or the rock is still there. It's not quite synced up 100%, but he's working on that right now. And then when you attack enemies, like both people can attack the same enemy. So he's working on that as well, because right now, where it's in early stages, if an enemy pops up in Daniel's game and Daniel attacks it, then my game has a completely different version of that enemy. So he's trying to work to where everything syncs up and not just the characters, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
A lot of technical stuff. It's not meant to be an online multiplayer game. So I think the fact that he's making it online multiplayer, even at these early stages, is really cool. But yeah, I just wanted to get your guys' thoughts on this and talk about it. So, Daniel.
Yeah, well, it's really cool. It's almost like... It's like if someone was like, hey, you know what's cool? 4 swords. But what if we could do that with Ocarina of Time? And a lot of the times in Tony's video, you'll see like him having when he first changed his color to be purple Link. My first thought was like, oh, it's like 4 swords. All right, you know. This would be really cool to do though, like just to play through the game in co-op, like even just to go through the dungeons. If they do work it to be like synced up completely though, they would need to make sure that everything, like not everything quite syncs up. So, because can you imagine if you're going through a dungeon together and you get the long shot, for example, in the water temple,
and then your friend doesn't get
and since your friend can't get it, right? So then at that point, it's like, is your buddy hooped because he can't actually get through some of the spaces in the dungeon then? Or do you have a workaround where everything's synced up except for items and treasure chests, or like dungeon items specifically, so that you can both have the chance to use those items and get through it? Yeah, so that's the only thing. I also do wonder how the time travel mechanic would work. Like, do you both have to go back and forward in time at the same time,
yeah,
or
that would be
do you disappear? Like, yeah, like how is that going to affect it as well if someone pulls the Master Sword? So that's what I'm curious about. But
if you went to Kakariko Village, one as a child, one as an adult, you would have two completely different places.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be 2 different versions of the village, right? So, yeah. But otherwise, I mean, if that's something that they've worked out already or they're working on, it'd be really cool. I'd love to give it a shot. It sounds like a lot of fun to just take that, and it's like just putting a different spin on something familiar like that, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, because, like...
Kayla.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No. I was just going to say, like...
Who's talking?
When you get into a room and, like...
Right.
There's a lot of enemies in the room that tries to attack you. Like, when you walk into a room in the Forest Temple and the 2... skeleton war... I forgot the names of them.
The Stalfos?
Yeah, the Stalfos, like, jump up and attack you, and there's, like, 2 of them, or 3 of them, and you have to kill them at the exact same time. Or not at the same time, but within a certain time limit. So instead of you having to fight both of them yourself, your partner could fight the other one. And then you could, like, get through these rooms a lot quicker. And then, like, on Bongo...
Like, I was just thinking, if the 3 of us were playing through it, though, we probably played that game so many times that it would just be really easy with all of us playing it. Like, we would have no challenge at all. But...
Well, I was thinking, like, Bongo, where he has the 2 hands and then the eyeball. So, like, one person could just focus on one hand, the second person could just focus on the other. But anyways, going to you, Kayla.
Yeah, I was actually just watching through the video, and I thought it was kind of funny seeing how everything was happening. Like you were saying, because it's not properly synced up, so someone would pick something up, and then the other person would just see him, like, holding his arms up.
Yeah.
But I think it would be a lot of fun to play, but... I would definitely need to play with people that probably aren't as familiar with the game, though, because, like you said, if it were the 3 of us, we'd probably just, like... We'd probably beat the game, like, really fast. But yeah, hopefully we can get that and give it a try and potentially stream it. I think it would be hilarious.
Yeah, Tony, if you're watching the podcast, give us a message about the game. I did.
120.
I did actually. I
Fucking
messaged
stop.
him because in the video it only shows 2 people playing multiplayer, and
Right.
he said that the guy was working on getting it to be more. So hopefully it does get to where it is 4 players instead of just 2. And there was an older Ocarina of Time multiplayer mod, to where you could put as many playable characters in the game at once, but it was all sharing the same game. So the camera, instead of being split screen like a normal multiplayer game, it was only following the person who was actually playing as the main character, and then the other people were basically like random links that could run around. They could still attack and get damage and stuff, but the camera would not stay on them. So basically, like, they were Cappy, and then you were Mario. So that's kind of how it was. So that video, which you can also find on YouTube, is really cool. It shows, like, you can even, during a cutscene, when, like, Link is fit in a fixed position, the other Links can still run around during the cutscene.
Oh.
So it makes it a bit entertaining. Yeah. But yeah, I would just like to see how it handles some of that stuff, like Daniel was talking about, to where if like you go back in time, will the other person automatically go back in time since the games are synced together? If you get an item, will the other person automatically get that item, or will he still need to open the chest, or will he be left without it? So there's a bunch of stuff like that, which I guess is why whenever they do, like when Nintendo does make these multiplayer games, they're not necessarily the best Zelda games. So yeah, maybe.
Yeah, they kind of all have their own problems.
Yeah. All right. The next news story is let's see here. Kayla, this is yours.
It's on me! Yes! Sorry if I've been a little bit weird throughout this podcast. I keep, like, lagging really badly, so I'm probably gonna have to get my own internet set up down here.
Not a bad idea.
You guys will be, like, talking about stuff, and I'll hear just, like, straight lag for, like, the entire, like, minute or two that you're talking, and I'm like, I don't know what they're talking about. Yes, so I'm gonna...
Here's what you gotta do, Kayla. Yeah, you just have to give an intro, and then talk about it. So, like,
And then-
say,
I have to give an intro?
yeah. Like,
No!
for each of the topics, how I've been introducing everyone. You are the host. You are the host for this.
You gotta get in that mindset.
I'm
You're the
in
captain
mindset
now.
of being...
Yeah.
No.
If you
Look at
notice,
you.
before
Look
every
at
No.
but
You're
before
the
every
captain now.
podcast, you'll see me kind of like let out a deep breath and be like, this is the part that I hate, and then I'll do the introduction. So
That's okay. I got this.
all right.
Sorry, I've never had to do an intro before, so this is exciting. All right.
You got this.
Wait, can I introduce myself as Chublima instead of Kayla? Because that'd be dank.
Yeah. Hold on.
Nice.
Let me, so we're at 44 minutes. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna update this. All right. Now go.
All right. What's up, everyone? It's Chublima, and today I'm going to be doing a review of Overcooked 2 with... I want to say with, but we have Game Over Jesse and then Captain Bergerson, and they didn't really play the game. I just kind of got the code, and I streamed it live to play with everyone. Yeah, so basically, if you haven't played Overcooked 1, Overcooked is kind of like... It's a really nice like couch co-op. You can play either by yourself or up to 4 players. And so you play in kind of a setting that's really chaotic and really stressful, and you're trying to beat the time and make as many orders as you can, the best that you can, and kind of follow the orders that come up. So for me, I really liked Overcooked 1. I played it a lot with my boyfriend, and it's very stressful, and it's one of those games where you like get really anxious, you yell at each other, or you just like dead silence and have to play. Overcooked 2 is a little bit different, I felt. in the sense that they had added a little bit, like some new mechanics and new recipes. And so, for instance, from Overcooked 1 to Overcooked 2, you could throw items across to each other instead of just having to like manually pass it. So there are a lot of really fun kind of things or little like tidbits that they had changed that way. And wow, am I just gonna keep talking about Overcooked because that's amazing? Yeah. Okay.
Speak the words.
Like after you get done, Daniel and I will give you a few questions that we would like to know about the game, but you can continue. The game was we only got one code, but very thankful for the code. Kayla was the biggest fan out of all of us, so we gave the code to her for Switch, and it was actually a very entertaining live stream. Gibbs, so I was worried every time that people give us game codes and stuff to do these interviews. I'm always worried, like, oh, well, I don't think you're necessarily going to make the money back from the game, like the $20 or $50, $100, however much something is when someone gives it to us. I'm like, I don't think our viewers are the type of people to go out and buy stuff that we recommend. But every time I'm wrong, because when we did the Blossom Tales, there was a bunch of people that said they bought it.
Oh, yeah.
And this time, like, while you were playing, before we even had our official podcast of it, Gibbs, one of our friends from the Discord, bought it on PC. Oh, earlier I said for the Switch. It was not a code for the Switch. I don't know.
Oh yeah, sir. I'm playing on Steam right now.
Yeah, which it is also on Switch though. But Gibbs bought it, the PC version. Yeah, he's in the chat right now. He bought it. So Gibbs bought the PC version just from watching the live stream of Kayla and wanting to join in to help her with all of the chaos.
I'm pretty sure he described it as he was tired of watching me suffer, and so he wanted to try and remedy that, and then we suffered together.
Aww. Nothing like suffering together.
Yes. Yeah, so anyways, so for Overcooked 2, I actually ended up, like Jesse said, I streamed both of the times I ended up playing it, and it was kind of crazy because I got really, like, into it. Like, I played for 3 to 4 hours, like, each time that I played, and I was streaming it just because I got to do it. And so, I believe in Overcooked 2, it has 6 worlds, and you have to get, like, a high enough score in order to keep progressing through the level. It's kind of like, so if you try going into a level and you don't have the high enough score because you've been getting like 1 stars or 2 stars the entire time, you have to backtrack and try to get 3 stars on a level in order to continue and progress through the game. So in that way, it kind of sets like a little bit of like a difficulty. And I want to say one of my favorite things about it actually was the soundtrack, because you don't realize, but as you're really stressed out and you're really concentrated while playing this game, so you're not really too aware of everything happening around you. And as the time goes from like it gets to like the last minute or something, the music gets really intense, and it just kind of starts to get more stressful the more stress that you start feeling in the game.
So,
but
what were you gonna say?
Oh no, what were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say, you mentioned Gibbs wanted to join because he's seen you getting so stressed out from playing it single player. So when someone joins in, does everything stay exactly the same? It's just 2 people are now doing it, or does the difficulty get harder for more people to join?
So actually that was one thing that really surprised me, because from playing Overcooked 1, I actually never played it alone, so I wasn't really too sure how that worked out. So Overcooked 2, when I got the code from Jesse, I just kind of like, I played by myself for a bit, and I realized how like difficult it was, because you had to control both characters instead of having that other person to control the other person. So it was a lot of like multitasking in a game, which is weird because like I'm used to doing that sort of stuff at work, and then taking that and like putting it into a video game where I have to have my mind like everywhere within the game was a lot of fun for me. But when you have a second player come in, they take over that character that you were controlling, so that way you don't have to worry about whatever that person's doing, and you can continue trying to do your own thing and trying to just kind of like cooperate and try to figure out like a plan in order to get through the level with a high enough score.
You said you played the first one with your boyfriend. Did you play the second one?
We haven't played it with, I haven't played it with him yet.
Okay.
But just because like it's on my Steam account, because the other one we just played on my Nintendo Switch.
Does it have random online to where you can just play with random people, or do you have to know the person to play?
Yeah, you have to have like people in your friends list in order to play.
Alright, so I won't be able to play with anyone because I have no friends.
What?
No.
Then why are we? We're right here, man.
I'm joking, guys. Okay, so
I know we were friends.
You haven't been able to play 4 players? Only 2 players?
No, yeah, I've only been able to play up to 2 players, so I could imagine that once you get like the 3rd or the 4th cook in that kitchen, it's going to get crazy. Like, even like with Gibbs, like I know that Jacob in chat always jokes about how we seem like we're a married couple, and we're just kind of like getting back and forth and like just like throwing food at each other. My favorite actually playing with Gibbs was there's a situation where I was like, Gibbs, like, can you pass some meat over here? And so he just like kept taking meat out of the bin and throwing it over, and he threw so much over that I would get stuck on it and I couldn't do anything because he had thrown so much meat at me. So
classic Gibbs.
Yeah, classic Gibbs.
That's why we don't go to LA with Gibbs anymore. No. Okay, so Daniel, do you have any thoughts or questions about the game?
I did, but she answered them all just as she was explaining things, so I have nothing to contribute to this.
What is the thing that you liked? No, okay. So that's the next question. What was the biggest difference between the first and the second game?
A really big part were like controls, because as I mentioned, like in the second one you could actually throw ingredients to each other. So I feel like if I tried to backtrack and play the first one now, I'd be frustrated, because being able to throw that ingredient over to the other person made your life so much easier than having to physically walk it over. And then there were little things about like kind of in the overworld actually. So in the first one, it was like everything was just like a flat land, and as you kind of unlocked different worlds to go to, they would just kind of pop up on the map. Whereas in the second one, they were like, you'd have to like drive onto like little buttons to like turn the ramp, or like make the ramp come up in order for you to get to different levels within the area. And I feel like they just put a lot more effort into like the different kind of mechanics that they had going on. Sorry, I got really weirded out because my screen just went to sleep.
Alright, yeah, so the question we always ask about games whenever we review them, usually if it's an older game, we'll just list 5 things that we liked the most, 5 things we didn't like the most. So what is the thing that you disliked the most, or the thing that you would have changed if you had your choice, that you could just go into the game, change it to make it a little bit different or whatever?
So one thing that as I was playing, in comparison, like playing through Overcooked 1, I noticed that Overcooked 2, like the skill cap for it was a lot lower. And I'm not sure if it's because like maybe during the first one, like maybe people could complain because they couldn't play it with their kids, so it was really like the skill cap was just too high and they didn't like that. So they really brought it down in this game. And I was kind of disappointed because like I like that stress. I like knowing like, oh no, like if I don't get 3 stars, I have to redo this level, or I have to find a new level to redo. And with this one, I found like I basically almost blew through the entire game in 2 sittings, which I thought was crazy, because in Overcooked 2 or Overcooked 1, I think it took me like maybe 20 hours.
Oh wow. Alright. Well,
yeah, so that was one thing I definitely didn't like. It was just like the skill cap was like way down in comparison.
Nice. Unless Daniel has a question, my last question, the exact opposite of the previous one, what was the thing that you liked the most about this game? Definitely
that game comes to life when you play with friends. And I know, like, working with Nintendo, like, I'll say that all the time. It's like play video games with friends. It makes it so much better, and play together. And that's really, like, that's the thing about Overcooked. That game is all about communication, cooperation, occasionally yelling at each other. And I think that in order to play with friends, kind of form a little bit of, like, a stronger kind of bond, because you have to fight in the kitchen. And, yeah, that's what I really liked about it. I felt like it kind of, like, Gibbs came out of nowhere, and it brought us a game that we could play together instead of playing something like Fortnite. And it just kind of added like a little bit of a diversity.
All right. I'm satisfied. I think
Yeah.
once I get paid, I'll probably get it on Switch.
Yeah.
Just to test it out. Or maybe, since you already have it on PC, maybe I'll get it on PC. Because it seems like
we'll
a
see what
simple enough game that I could run it on my laptop. So, who knows?
Oh yeah. Like, it doesn't take much to run.
Yeah.
But yeah, for sure. Everyone, like, you should definitely, if you haven't played Overcooked 1 or Overcooked 2, I really suggest it. I feel kind of bummed out because when we were at E3, like, we kind of stood in line to play Overcooked together, and I really wish that we did, because it would have been so much more fun to have the 4 of us struggling with that game.
Where was it at?
It was in the Nintendo booth.
Was it? I don't...
Yeah. It was in the far corner. It was, like, past Starlink, because there was that other one, I can't remember, there was, like, this,
Yeah.
there was, like, that arcade game that I can't remember what it was called, with, like, the weird, like, dragonfly things that you were fighting.
Killer
Right,
Bee.
the, like...
Killer Bee, yeah.
Killer Queen Black, or...
Yeah, it was beside that game.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was too popular, I guess. Because there were some we just skipped out on, because it was just like, that's a long wait, you know?
Patreon supporter in the chat, Bootleg Boy Advance SP, says the first game was insanely hard. Overcooked is a good Switch game. So yeah.
Oh,
Gibbs
that was another
Princess
thing
Black
that...
Queen was the...
I actually wanted to add quickly about Overcooked, that the controls from computer to Nintendo Switch, like, I like it a lot more playing on the Nintendo Switch, because, like, you can kind of, like, you can fix the key bindings for yourself on Steam, but with the way that it is, like, default, I kept, like, tabbing myself out of the game. So, yeah. I suggest getting it on Nintendo Switch. It's a lot easier and a lot better for the couch co-op feel.
Yeah, that's...
Is there crossplay?
Crossplay?
What?
Yeah, is there crossplay?
Between
I'm not sure. I don't think so.
Oh.
I haven't seen anything about it.
I can fact check really quick.
Just, I know that Nintendo has been doing a lot of crossplay with everything, but not with Sony. Sony doesn't want any part of that, but I know that PC and Xbox and Switch have had a lot of crossplay games, so it would be nice if that would be cool if doing that.
Yeah, then I wouldn't have to buy it again to play with people.
No,
Exactly.
it's not available.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought.
Maybe that's like a future update. They can have
That would be cool.
like wasn't it? What's the name? The rocket car soccer game.
Rocket League.
Yeah, Rocket League.
Rocket League, man.
Didn't they add support for that one day?
Yeah, Rocket League has crossplay,
and then,
but not with PlayStation.
Yeah, there was actually a day, I think it was Rocket League that did it, to where for like one day they flipped the Switch to where PlayStation could play with everyone, and then PlayStation complained, so they turned it back.
Oh.
Because before, I think it was PlayStation had said something about they were looking into it, but there was like they didn't have the ability to do it at that point in time. And then like a month or two later, Rocket League like just let them do it, and then they kind of got in trouble. So then everybody realized it has nothing to do with PlayStation not having the ability to do it. It's not even them that have like, they're not the ones that would flip the Switch to allow it or whatever. It's because the servers would be the Rocket League servers owned by the Rocket League people, so it's like all up to them. Anyways, I think we can move on. And I may have gotten some of that wrong with the Rocket League, but I remember there was like a big thing about that.
I don't play enough Rocket League to know.
You should.
It's fun.
Alright, 59. 59 people.
Woo!
Editing. Yeah, we can get through this next one really quick. Alright,
Yeah.
you guys ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
What's up, everybody? I am Jesse, or Game Over Jesse, as all of you may know me. Here with us is our co-hosts, Kayla and Daniel. Today, we have a couple of rumors that fit. Well, we have one rumor and one news story that fit into a bigger rumor. So, there is supposedly a Nintendo Direct coming next month. It's a rumor that's going around, supposedly been leaked by a bunch of people. I actually kind of believe it's happening because we had the previous president of Nintendo saying that there were a few unannounced first-party games releasing this year for the Nintendo Switch. We also have the online service coming in November or September? September, yeah. So
half of it starts in September, I believe.
Yeah, so we have that coming in September. And Nintendo hasn't really said too much about it. Like, they've slowly been giving information as it's gotten closer, but they haven't done like a big keynote announcement for it just yet. And I think the best way to reveal those games that the president was talking about, the first party, so not third party games, not like Call of Duty or whatever, first party games like Mario, Zelda, Splatoon, whatever, Donkey Kong, unannounced first party games releasing this year. And they also need to fill in everyone for information on the online service. And I think doing both of those in a Nintendo Direct would be perfect. So the Nintendo Direct could address games coming out during the holiday season and the online service. So you get two birds with one stone. And we have the first piece of news is actually that... Can you guys hear me okay?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. The first piece of news is sorry. It wasn't opening.
First piece of news.
The first piece of news comes from Nintendo Life, where they say Overwatch for Nintendo Switch is feasible according to Blizzard senior producer. It says with the I can't read. Daniel, read for me. Words are hard.
With the Diablo 3 Eternal Collection now officially confirmed coming to the Nintendo Switch this autumn, there's been much buzz about certain other Blizzard that could have been released on the platform. When asked by GameSpot if the team-based multiplayer title Overwatch would ever make it to the Switch, Blizzard senior producer Pete Stillwell said it was feasible. The quote is, "Yes, it is feasible. Anything is within the realm of possibility. Our team was given the task to work on this. If Team 4, which is the developer for Overwatch, picks up that endeavor, that's on them. As of right now, Diablo is our only focus on Switch." So, basically he's saying, could happen, anything's possible, I don't know, but it's not really like a confirming or denying anything, so...
Yeah, but
usually that means yes.
Yeah, usually like if they don't... Because if they're not working on it, then they'll come out and say no. But if they are working on it, then they'll give like an iffy answer to it. Because they can't say yes, because then, like, he probably wouldn't get fired.
Yeah. But he probably can't announce it yet.
If it was just like a low-level developer, then he would get fired. But this is a senior producer, so they would just be like, we're fining you for breaking an NDA or something.
Yeah.
The second piece of news, Kayla, would you like to take it? The rumor that ties into it with New Super Mario Brothers? Give me
I can do that. I don't. Okay. I accidentally copy and pasted it down there. I'm so sorry.
What did you do?
I messed up the Google Doc. Don't worry about it.
Why would you do this?
I guess we continue without Jesse?
Sure.
Okay.
Jesse's just an invisible chairman.
He's gone. Okay, so our next piece of news comes from Nintendo enthusiasts. It's a rumor that the new Super Mario Bros. U is headed to the Switch with new content. Kind of makes me wonder how they're going to change the name. because U is like a Wii U thing. Alright, so online rumors point to New Super Mario Bros. U being released for Nintendo Switch, according to comicbook.com. The outlet also claims the tie-in, the New Super Luigi U, will also be included in the Switch package.
Yeah, to kind of back this up, if you look on Twitter, there was apparently screenshots of an Amazon K leak that actually listed the game.
Ooh.
And then it got shortly taken down. So this doesn't seem to be too baseless. Of a claim here. So.
Oh, Nintendo mentioned they had some holiday surprises, and this would surely qualify. But it's not the biggest release ever. But who doesn't want New Super Mario Bros. On the Switch? Which I totally agree. This game would be great to play with people, and if they could like mix in an online component to it, and so we could all play together, even better.
Yeah, I just posted the tweet that I found in our little Discord chat. If anyone's interested, I'll put it in our live stream chat here as well. But yeah, that little Amazon leak, it in my head confirms it. But it would be a lot of fun. I actually never got Super Mario Bros. U.
It's so much fun.
I really liked the other ones. Like I had New Super Mario Bros. Wii, and I really liked that game. So and this game has more Yoshi stuff, and I love Yoshi. So
this little news story got confirmed while we were talking about it.
No, Daniel had just pointed out that he saw a tweet that someone had seen on Amazon UK.
That kind of backs up the rumor.
The things that I love is when we post the video talking about the rumor, and then people in the comments are like, "Oh, this isn't going to happen," and the next day it happens.
Yeah,
like that's actually happened a couple of times, and it's the best thing ever. Because they're like, "Oh, Spyro would never come to Nintendo Switch," and then they're like, "Spyro's
That's
coming
what you
to
think."
Nintendo Switch.
I thought that was so funny because for the entire time I was convinced that Spyro was coming out on Nintendo Switch. I was like, yeah, like at E3 I played a Nintendo Switch, and I was like, wait a minute, no I didn't. Why was I so convinced that it was coming out on Nintendo Switch?
So
oops.
Sorry, what? Kayla?
Oh, no,
no.
What?
Sorry, go Jesse.
Go, Jesse, go.
I was just going to say, we kind of talked about this on the last podcast, but you weren't here, Kayla, so you can give your thoughts on this, and it ties in with the new Super Mario Bros. Thing. So for me, I was thinking, maybe this is a misdirection. Like, sometimes they will... Okay, so example, the Star Fox rumor. It was that a Star Fox game was coming out, and it was going to be kind of like a mix between F-Zero or whatever and Star Fox.
Right.
And there was a Star Fox game coming out, but it wasn't Star Fox. It was like a crossover between Star Fox and... what was it?
Starlink?
Yeah, Starlink. Yeah.
Right.
So, like, you could play a Star Fox with the R-Wing or whatever. So it was kind of like... I looked at that as a misdirection, that people at Nintendo thought it might get leaked, so they put out a similar leak to kind of get people to focus on it instead of what it actually was. Like,
oh yeah, that'd be smart.
Yeah, that's honestly what I think happened, because it was like a week or two after was when they finally revealed it. But with this, I thought it was something similar, to where I was thinking it would be just a brand new Super Mario Bros. Game, not just a port of the Wii U version, although the Wii U version was really cool. But last week we were talking about how every time there's a new 2D Mario game, they always do something to upgrade it a bit.
Well, another thing as well is just kind of like reading through it, because they want to port over New Super Mario Bros. U, but how are they going to rename it, put it on the Nintendo Switch?
Yeah.
Because they can't keep the U in there. It's not a Wii U.
Yeah, that is.
They might just still do it.
Yeah.
Like, because if they just rename it, it's gonna be like people are gonna get confused about, like, is this the same game? Is this a new game? What's going on? Like, people don't know this stuff.
Well,
like the average consumer. Can you imagine just an average consumer who had it on the Wii U? They see it announced and it's called New Super Mario Bros. Switch, and they're like, "Great, another one! I love this game. I'm gonna buy the sequel."
And they buy it, and it's like the exact same one.
Yeah, like they would be like you kind of have to keep the title the same, but maybe just add deluxe at the end of it, or what?
Yeah.
So I don't know what else they could do without causing some confusion, right?
Well, the thing that I think about is Zombie U from Ubisoft. Whenever they re-released it, because at first it was a Wii U exclusive, but it didn't sell well on the Wii U, and I think part of the agreement was it would be an exclusive if it sold over a certain amount. And then when it failed to sell, they were able to get out of the contract and put it on other consoles.
Right. And so then, they just renamed it Zombie.
Yeah, it was just Zombie without the U. So there had been games with that in the title where they just took it off. But then in that case, like the U obviously stood for Wii U, but they could have also made it stand for Ubisoft.
That's true.
Because U, you know.
They just have to change it because it had the U that was like the Wii U logo. But the thing is, in this case, if they just took out the U, then it's New Super Mario Bros., which is already a game on the DS.
Yeah.
So
they have a tricky
they're
situation.
in a tough place.
Yeah.
You need to just learn how to name your stuff, Nintendo, please.
So the the upgrading thing that I was talking about is whenever they they had Super Mario Bros. Or whatever, and then they went to New Super Mario Bros. Because they wanted, after like so many years, Miyamoto wanted to go back to that style. So they ended up calling it New Super Mario Bros. Because they had a lot of new stuff that you could do in the game. The most important being co-op. Like, you could play it multiplayer with everyone on the screen at the same time, instead of the fake multiplayer of, like, just sharing controllers. Like, oh, I'm playing the level as Mario. Now you play the level as Luigi. This time, Mario and Luigi could both be on the screen. So after New Super Mario Bros. On the Wii, they had the next one on the Wii U. New Super Mario Bros. Wii U. The big upgrade this time was now it's in HD, which doesn't sound like a huge thing, but it actually does make a lot, like a big difference. And New Super Mario Bros. U, in the interview with Miyamoto, he said that it actually started as just a normal port of New Super Mario Bros. From the Wii. Because whenever they first revealed the Wii U, they had the Zelda Wii U tech demo, they had the New Super Mario Bros. That you could play in HD, and they had some other stuff. But those were like the two main things. And he said that the developers loved working on like the port of New Super Mario Bros. To the Wii U so much that they ended up just making an entirely new game, which is where New Super Mario Bros. U came from. So that big update was just that it was in HD, and it also had, for whatever uses, it had the controls on the Wii U gamepad. The second update came with Super Mario Maker, or Mario Maker. And this time, the update, you could build your own levels. So moving from having almost an infinite amount of levels to a game where you have a set amount of levels kind of feels like a downgrade. So what I was thinking is, the big thing with the Switch is it's having its online function coming soon. So a way to make the next big Mario 2D side-scrolling game seem like an advancement while taking out the build-your-own-level thing is, instead of couch co-op, it still has that, but now it has online co-op. So that would be, to me, the only way that they would be able to make it so that it doesn't feel like taking two steps back, and it's actually progressing the series like every other game has been. So what if the updates to this, to make it feel like a newer game, is that it's online, especially since it's likely to be releasing around the time of the, or it says October, So that's like a month after the online service releases.
Yeah.
So
I think it'd be really cool if they started doing more of that, because I'd love to be able to play games with you guys and not have to be right beside you.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is, like, if they can go back and add online multiplayer to NES games that were never designed to have online multiplayer in the first place, then adding it to a game that's actually designed for the system doesn't seem like it would be that hard. Like, they went back on the 3DS, you can download the online version of Pokemon Blue and Red. And then you can, like, trade Pokemon to your Pokebank and stuff. So they added online functionality to, like, Game Boy games. Now they're doing it with NES games for the online service that you get for free every month. So why wouldn't they be able to do it for New Super Mario Bros? Like, why? It seems like an obvious thing to let me play as Mario, you play as Luigi, Kayla play as whoever, Toad, I don't know.
You're Toad.
Rude.
Sucker.
I get to play whoever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll play
Yeah.
Toad and I'll run so fast.
Yeah, but it seems like just a natural progression to where it's like, hey, now you can play. Didn't they do that with Super Mario Odyssey? To where originally you didn't play online, and then they added in minor online functionality to where, like, now you're playing hide and seek with balloons.
With Luigi, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that is not really the same as, like, a full co-op sort of game. Yeah. But, I mean, if they can add some online functionality, it makes the most sense to just have online co-op added into this. Just to make it at least a little more worth it. It's a better idea than funky mode, that's for sure. So.
Yeah, well, that's another thing, is every single deluxe version of a game or whatever that they've released has had some sort of thing to make it deluxe or whatever.
Yeah.
With this, because I think at one point they already had the Luigi and Mario on the same box before. I'm not really sure. I knew you could buy the physical version of the Luigi thing.
Yeah, I think there was a bundle. I'm pretty sure.
So, like, with this, instead of being like, oh, now you can play more levels or, like, adding new levels to it, I think that would be an even bigger selling point. Is just, and I honestly think it would be as easy as them flipping a switch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's gone.
Yeah, alright, we can talk bad about her.
This is good. Toad.
Oh, she's back. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, so while she's gone, before we move to the next topic, what is one mystery shock thing that you want to see for this direct? We talked about Overwatch being a possibility. New Super Mario Bros. Seems like it's a done thing. This is likely one of those unannounced first-party games Nintendo was talking about, which is exactly what I said whenever I first heard that. I was like, well, it has to be remake or port, because, like, if it was a brand new game or a sequel to something, Nintendo would need time to promote it, to market it, to tell people what it is. But if it's a remake, everyone already knows what it is. Or if it's a port, everyone is already going to know what it is. You don't need time, like if it's Ocarina of Time HD or Wind Waker HD or New Super Mario Bros., you don't need time to promote that. You can just put it out, people already know what it is, and they'll buy it. You don't need to spend months telling people, hey, you're a kid, but you're also a squid, and you can run around, but you can also swim in the ink, and you shoot people, and then there's other things, but they're really bad, and everyone wears skater clothes, but you're still a squid. Like, they needed the 6 months to tell people about that.
Mario is not really the kind of game you got to explain to people as well. You know? Well, like maybe like Mario Odyssey, but...
Start at the left side of the screen and make your way to the right.
Go right. Just move in that direction and jump.
Yeah, which is the thing that Metroid did, to where all of the 2D side-scrolling platformers made you go from, like, left to right. Metroid, you start out, you go right, you realize you can't do that, so then you go left. Yeah. So, like, it breaks that. It was one of the first games that broke that formula.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good. I like me some Metroid. But yes, surprise. Someone in the chat said they want to see Animal Crossing on Switch. That was Jan C. So
yes,
that they're trying to win Kayla over.
Yes, please.
Yeah, I seen someone earlier that was like, I got mixed vibes from them. They were kind of complaining, and then before they left, they were like, "You have a very soothing voice," and I'm like, "Thank you."
Thanks, man.
I think.
But yeah, I think what would be really cool, nice little surprises, even though it's not technically a new announcement, give me some Metroid Prime 4.
RPG in the chat.
Anything.
Prime Trilogy Deluxe.
That would be cool, but at this point, I feel almost like if you're doing the Prime Trilogy, it's beating a dead horse a bit, because we already had all the original releases, and then the big Prime Trilogy, and then there was like a special edition Prime Trilogy with like a metal case and everything, and I just feel like, like I like those games a lot. I just don't want to have to buy them again, but but it would be really great to have something other than just a logo for Metroid Prime 4. Please give me something, Nintendo.
For me, Zelda remake or port. Whether it's Ocarina of Time HD, Wind Waker HD, just give me another Zelda on the Switch. That's mine. So yes. Daniel wants Metroid. I want... Did I call you Danny? Daniel.
You said Daniel.
No, you said Daniel.
Daniel wants Metroid.
Yeah, you said...
I have an uncle, Danny. So Daniel wants Metroid. I want a Zelda port or remake. Kayla.
I don't even have to be here for you guys to know my answer.
Animal Crossing.
Yep.
Alright. Because we, while you were gone, I was thinking, what can we do to pass the time till she gets back? And I was like, well, we talked about the rumored games that are supposed to be announced at the Nintendo Direct. So what about what we would like to see? So mine was Zelda, Metroid, Animal Crossing.
Give me Animal Crossing.
We can...
Yeah, sorry, I really had to go to the bathroom, so I'll let Chewbacca take over.
Alright, so we can move on to our...
Chewbacca was very insightful.
Almost done, guys. We'll probably be done in like the next 30 minutes. We just have
I'll be able to go buy shoes before work today.
The top 5 and then the Zaldo. So what we previously did with the... This won't take nearly as long because we don't have as many people. But on the one that we did last month, Twilight Princess, what time are we at? 1:23. Okay. So, editing. So what we did last week was we, everyone went through, said what they liked or didn't like about the game, and then everyone gave their thoughts on what they liked or didn't like. Instead, whenever we did the thing that we didn't like, the person just said what they didn't like, and then we moved to the next person, because everyone giving their thoughts on everyone else's thoughts took too long. So this time we're going to shorten it a bit. So everybody ready?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
What's up, everybody? I am Jesse, or Game Over Jesse, as all of you may know me. Here with us is our co-hosts, Daniel and Kayla. We have no guests with us this time. Just like last week, we talked about the top 5 things that we loved about Twilight Princess, and then we did a second video on the top 5 things we hated about Twilight Princess. We have other videos on Wind Waker, Ocarina of Time, Breath of the Wild that you can go check out. Some are discussions like this, some are scripted. If you're into the shorter, to-the-point scripted stuff, you can go like that. But if you want something to listen to while you're on your way to work, or working out, or doing your exercises, cooking, whatever the reason may be, then this longer version may be for you. I want to say, because I've neglected it throughout the rest of the podcast, we have a giveaway going on right now with YuriofWind. We're trying to help him get to 300,000 subscribers. He's at 295 or something like that. He does gaming mysteries and other video series. Inspired me to do the gaming history series that we have talking about canceled games, which he's been in a lot of those videos as well. He was actually supposed to be on this podcast, but he got busy with editing one of his videos. Anyways, you can go check that in the comments below. We also have new shirts. They are so new that we don't even own them yet. So let's get to it. The top 5 things that we love the most about Majora's Mask.
Okay, number 5, everything.
Yep, that's it for the video.
Tuning in, everybody.
And just so everybody knows, I feel I always need to mention this when we do these videos. We are a Zelda Nintendo-based channel, so when you look at a review of a Zelda channel, reviewing a Zelda video, it's very biased. So to keep it non-biased, we have this video talking about things we liked, but we also have the second video up that you can go and watch. Should be posting the day after this video posts. So you can go watch that to see everything that we don't like about the game. So we try to stay fair. So Daniel, again, starting with you.
Right, everything.
Everything.
Sorry,
everything.
Everyone. We love everything. Yes, no. So I guess we're jumping in things we like. Is that right? This is the love side of the video. Okay. The 3-day cycle time travel mechanic is brilliant. I love it. It is one of the things that really makes the game unique in the series. That really sets it apart from other games. The time travel in this game means business. It's not just going back and forth between like 2 time periods. It's like Groundhog Day times 3. That's a movie for all you youngins, starring my hero Bill Murray. But you know, it's a super well implemented mechanic that forces the stakes, like really raises the stakes by having mechanic, because you have basically 3 days to save the world, and because everything is scripted in those 3 days, it makes the characters really come to life. So like that is sort of the basis of the game, and everything flourishes because of that foundation, because it putting that limitation on things, basically it adds that spice to every other piece of game design that comes after that. So that's my choice.
Nice.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, a quick fact for everyone listening: the 3-day cycle originally was supposed to be a 7-day cycle, and there are tiny little upgrades in the game. Like Link's model looks a little bit better than the Ocarina of Time model. When you pause the game, it loads the options or the menu faster. There's a lot of tiny improvements, but the main improvement comes from that 3-day cycle. So the main reason that you need the extra memory from the expansion pack is because everyone is supposed to be at a certain place at a certain time. If you do a side quest, it then has to remember where those people are now, because when you do certain things, then it replaces the path or whatever that a character is supposed to go to, or where people are going to be. So to keep track of all of that, the console needs that extra memory to remember where everyone is. Similar to Breath of the Wild, when it has its Blood Moon. That's because if you are in Kakariko Village and you open a treasure chest, or you kill out a bunch of Bokoblin camps, and then you go all the way to Gerudo Village or whatever, and you open up another chest, even though you're on the other side of the map, the game has to remember every single thing that you did all the way on the other side of the world. So when you get a Blood Moon, it's because the RAM fills up with all the memory, and it can't remember anything else, so it resets everything. So that's a quick tidbit. And it was originally, instead of the expansion pack, it was supposed to use the Nintendo 64 disk drive, and it was going to have a 7-day cycle instead of a 3-day. And some of the stuff is still there with the 3-day cycle. You can mess with the game code and go to the 7th day and then the 0th day or whatever. So it's very interesting stuff that you can do. Kayla, what do you love the most about Majora's Mask?
Is it a cop-out to say the music? Because I get that soundtrack stuck in my head literally every day.
No, that's not a cop-out.
No, that's music's a big part.
Music is important.
It's so good. It is so catchy, and it just really perfectly describes the different situations and the different areas you're in. And I kid you not, like, that's probably the top soundtrack from Legend of Zelda that actually gets stuck in my head.
And it's very thematic. Like,
yeah,
different, like basically the swamp theme, mountain theme, the kind of canyon theme, the Great Bay theme. Like, they are all technically different mixes of the same theme, but remixed or reorchestrated to suit that area better. But because it has that same prevailing theme of it's a very despairing theme too. It's far more powerful than just another random Zelda song from other places.
Yeah,
not to discredit other games, but yeah, it's good. It's real good.
So good. Jesse.
Yeah.
James. Sorry.
No, I was trying to look up the Japanese title for Majora's Mask is Zelda no Densetsu Majora no Kamen. I was trying to figure out what Kamen means. Maybe it means mask?
I don't know. Could be.
And Majora is spelled differently as well. So, anyways,
I do not speak Japanese.
Mujura. See, doesn't Hylian know all the languages?
Yeah, she
doesn't know all the languages, but she knows
all of them.
The podcast that she's not on, she knows all the languages.
She knows them all, every single one.
All of them. That's why she's here, and her voice, who she needs to narrate that 2-hour Majora's Mask video. Anyways, my favorite thing, side quests. So,
yes.
And it's not even the side quests. It's from doing the side quests, you get to know each of the characters. It's just, it makes the game feel alive. Whereas you play Twilight Princess or I don't know, like a lot of the 2D games. They don't really go in depth on the characters. But in Majora's Mask, sort of in Skyward Sword, not to the same extent. And then Breath of the Wild has some taste of it, where you get to know some of the characters really well. Like all of the sun carpenters.
Right, and Cass and...
But in Majora's Mask, you just almost every single character in the game, it feels like almost no one is left out.
Yeah.
Everyone has their story, whether it's like the mayor and all of his people arguing with each other, the guards telling their story, even though there's no side quests that involve them. They like talk to you, tell you like some of them are like scared about the moon. Some of the NPCs believe the moon's not falling at all. It's just people believing in myths or whatever. But then you look up and it's getting closer. And it's like, well, you don't have to believe, or like you can just look up and see it for yourself. Like you don't.
Yeah.
It's kind of dumb, I guess, but whatever. Anyways, and then there's like Anju's grandmother that tells all of the stories that you need the all-night mask. Yeah. So there's like all of the characters that you get to know, and then even if because some people think, well, it's like, well, Clocktown's the only town in Majora's Mask, so of course you get to know everyone really well. But then you go to the Goron area, like the mountain, and you get to know everyone there. You get to know everyone at Zora's domain. Like you have to get back the singer's eggs, right?
Yeah, Lulu.
Yeah, you have to get back Lulu's eggs, which is the scariest part of the game for me, because I have a fear of like deep water and giant creatures.
Oh,
and this does both of them. Yeah, like Morphil in Twilight Princess gets to me, because it's like a giant snake thing. And this, it's the same thing, like giant eel snake-like things, but they only they just come straight out. I think they were in Super Mario 64 as well.
Yeah, they look a little different, but it's pretty much the same thing. Yeah. Also in Mario Odyssey, they look terrifying. Just putting that out there.
Yeah. That's mine. Just the characters. 2 more. Yes. So it goes back to you, Kayla.
Me? Yeah, well, I was gonna say this actually kind of goes into you talking about side quests, but another thing that I really loved about Majora's Mask were like the variety of the masks that they had, and just like the Happy Mask Salesman too. He was spot on. But I love that the entire time it's just like you use a mask to like lead chickens and the mask to dance, and it's just like there's so many just weird things that Mask does that not many games would think of doing, and they do it all with their masks. So
it was originally
and there's the transformation mask too, which is like those 3 like most Zelda games that have a transformation have one thing, Wolf Link and then back or whatever, but this is like you've got Deku Link, Goron Link, Zora Link, your normal form, and then Fierce Deity Link is the bonus one. Like, there's a lot more variety of those transformations, and they're all really well fleshed out as well.
Yeah, I have 2 things to say about this. One actually came up on the live stream that Tevi was doing yesterday. I think it was yesterday. Someone in the comments asked what items we would like to see returned, and he said the Pegasus boots. And I was recording or editing a video about Majora's Mask. So I thought, what if you put on the Pegasus boots while you were wearing Majora's Mask? Or the bunny hood, I meant.
Well, no, we were talking about this when Tevi and I were playing Fortnite.
Was it?
Yeah, because I was there for that conversation.
Well, we talked about
it. But that
is
funny.
Because one makes you faster and one makes you run.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the mask abilities that you like about the game carried over from what was supposed to be the expansion to Ocarina of Time. The masks, like the bunny hood. There's no proof of this, but there are interviews where they said like all of the ideas of the masks were supposed to, like, they carried over because they were supposed to have more uses in Ocarina of Time. So that's why everything that got left out of the Ura expansion became a big focus of Majora's Mask. So theoretically, since all of the masks were supposed to have abilities in Ocarina of Time, there is a huge fan conspiracy, I guess you could call it, that the Running Man, who you can never beat, originally you were supposed to use the bunny hood mask in order to beat him.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah. Because you give him the mask as the postman in Majora's Mask as well.
Yeah.
And then he says that he can run faster with the hat on in Ocarina of Time as well, right? It's just when you wear it, you don't get the ability.
It's true.
In Ocarina of Time, but you give it to him and then he can run. You always see like dust behind him. So it's a thing that carried over. You were originally supposed to beat him, theoretically, which I think makes sense.
Yes.
But yeah, a
little tidbit there.
Daniel, last thing that we love about Majora's Mask. Pineapples.
Since all the things have already been said as well. Yes, it's pineapple. Yeah. The pineapples. No.
Oh my goodness.
It, to me, is kind of the mystery behind the game. There's a lot of stuff in Zelda that's not really well explained, but Majora's Mask, I think, has the most like mystery surrounding it, which leaves a lot of room for discussions and speculations and theory videos and all this stuff. And I think that's one of the things people love the most about this game, as well as that there's a lot more to talk about because there's so much that's kind of, we have the gaps and and it's not just like, oh, they did a bad job explaining it. It feels almost like the mystery is really part of the appeal, and it's just something I really like about the game. So
yeah, they did it all intentionally.
Yes, so there's like the Fierce Deity Mask. There's a lot of mystery behind where that came from, and like there's varying explanations that we've been given over the years, but there's still just a lot of it is kind of left blank. Origins of Majora's Mask are explained, but really vague. The nature of Termina's existence is, even though kind of confirmed, is still hotly debated. Where it exists, if it does exist, etc. So there's all this stuff that is really, it's really neat that like as a community we can get together, have these kind of discussions, because the game leaves so much that's open to interpretation that way. So I like that.
That was such a heartfelt answer.
Oh,
All right.
I tried. I'm a big nap.
Giving us those feels.
After that heartfelt answer, you guys ready to talk about
Yes.
what we hate?
No,
about this?
nah.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. What's up, everybody? I am Jesse. Or Game Over Jesse, as all of you may know me. We have our co-hosts Daniel and Kayla here. Actually, I'm going to redo that so I can say Chiblima on the edited version.
Okay.
All right, you're just going to keep waiting. What's up, everybody? I am Jesse, or Game Over Jesse, as all of you may know me. Here with us is our co-hosts Daniel and Chiblima. Today, we just finished talking about all of the things that we loved about The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. Now, we're going to be talking about the 5 things that we dislike or hate the most about Majora's Mask, or the things that we would change to make better. Actually, that didn't sound good either. I'm gonna do another intro.
I was good. It was good.
No, my brain just cancels out. Yeah.
No.
What's up, everybody? I am Jesse, or Game Over Jesse, as all of you may know me. Daniel.
Yes. Sorry.
What's up,
I'm still
everybody?
with us.
I am Jesse, or Game Over Jesse, as all of you may know me. Here with us is our co-hosts Daniel and Chiblima.
Hello.
We just finished talking about the top 5 things that we love the most about The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. You can go watch that video if you would like, or you can stay here and listen to us talk about the top 5 things that we dislike about the game, or the 5 things we would change to make it better. Again, this is a channel dedicated to Zelda, so just because the title says the top 5 things we hate about Zelda, or that we would change, doesn't mean that we are crap. It's one of my favorites. Everyone else likes it. So, again, you can go watch the video. We're trying to not be biased here, so we're talking about both. So, if there are some things that you would like to change about the game, comment them below. We'll all be in the comments talking with you, discussing. Give this video a like if you want to see us do similar videos like this in the future on other games. You can even leave games in the comments below that you would like to see us talk about. I think Daniel froze a bit. Are you there?
Oh no.
Right. I left and came back in to fix it. Yeah.
You're back.
All right.
Woohoo!
I'll just cut that part out. So,
Okay.
starting with Kayla this time. What would you change? Yeah, we started and ended with Daniel on the 5 things that we love the most. So now we're starting and ending with you. What is one of the things that you either hate the most about Majora's Mask, or what would you change it? If Miyamoto came to you, I guess technically Al Numa.
If Miyamoto came to me, I would be crying and like, please give me a hug and sign everything I own.
And sign this, and sign this, and sign this, please.
Yeah, so
Yes.
Alanuma comes, knocks on your door. It's like, hey, Tubes, I
Same
need
reaction.
some help. We're bringing Majora's Mask to the Nintendo Switch, but we want to make sure that we get out all of the kinks that people didn't like about the 3DS version or the original version. What do we do to make this game better?
So,
No pressure.
for me, I personally really like dungeons. And I felt like there was a severe lack of dungeons in Majora's Mask, and I filled in all those blanks with all of our side quests, and they still kept the game really full and lots to do. And even then, like, in the dungeon, like, there was lots that you had to do in that time frame. Like, you had to collect all of the fairies, because you can't go back in time or you lose them all, and then sucks to suck. Yeah, sucks to suck, everyone. But yeah, I think that's probably one of my very few complaints. I'll have to think of another one.
So you would add dungeons? What?
Like just add more, like mini dungeons, or just like 8 instead of 4 dungeons, or.
I like this game so much, so having to think of things that I want to change.
It's a hard topic because we have to pick apart. Like it's, I'm pretty sure, a favorite among all 3 of us. So, but if you think about it, like people say there was like 4 dungeons in the game and that's it. But really, that's just the 4 main dungeons.
Yeah, because there's so much to do in the game.
Of a dungeon in itself. Yeah. The Gerudo Fortress is kind of a dungeon in itself as well. There's Akana Castle is also kind of a dungeon. You know, so
a lot of people complained that Akana Castle was like really tedious.
I like it.
Yes, Jesse.
Okay, so what is the one mask? Okay, no. So whenever they remade Twilight Princess for the Wii U, if you tapped the amiibo, the Wolf Link amiibo, you could get access to the dungeon that they made.
Right.
So here's my thing. What is the one mask that had the least amount of uses? The Fierce Deity mask, right?
Okay, I was gonna say the pig one.
No, because you get the Fierce Deity mask at the very end of the game, and then you technically use it for the one boss fight. That's it. So, what if there's a Fierce Deity amiibo, like the Wolf Link amiibo?
Okay,
that'd be so OP.
You tap the Fierce Deity amiibo, it takes you to a dungeon that you have to get through as Fierce Deity. So you can still push blocks around. And the thing is, there are enemies that attack you and stuff, but where Fierce Deity is so OP, you have no shield, is the main thing.
That's true.
So you can't defend, you have to be like all out offensive. Like if you're facing a Dark Nut, then
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, give us a Fierce Deity dungeon that kind of sheds a little bit of light on the mystery. Not quite.
Yeah, it would be really cool to, like, you know, in Skyward Sword, right before the last time you fight Girahim, you have to go through like the Bokoblin horde, and there's just, but at that point, your Master Sword is like upgraded, so you're kind of OP, and you're just one-shotting all of them. I just kind of have a section of the dungeon like that where you're just getting swarmed by enemies, but because you're Fierce Deity Link and you're so OP that you just tear through tons and tons of them at a time, it would be probably easy but really fun to do. Yeah,
especially
that would be cool.
If you take the Romani Chateau milk.
Oh my goodness.
That way you can have like unlimited energy beams.
Unlimited power!
Yeah, so Daniel, what is the one thing that you hate the most or that you would change? See, that's the thing. If I title this video the top 5 things we hate about Majora's Mask, before people even watch the video, it's going to have a flood of hate comments. But if I title the video how to make Majora's Mask better, or how to fix Majora's Mask, then you get a lot of nicer comments, even though it's the exact same video. It's just how you title it. So
yeah.
So Daniel, what is
Jesse?
While you were
this one's like
busy there for a second, I was
sorry. It's all good. No,
explaining the title. So Daniel,
this is the really nitpicky nitpick.
Majora's Mask coming to the Switch. What do we change?
The Andrew and Cafe side quest has 2 endings. No, don't get rid of it.
get rid of the side quests.
Just change it so that you don't have to do it twice. I think it's a very important side quest to the game, and it's one that sticks with people a lot. But in order to 100% complete the game, you have to do it twice. And when you do it the first time, it's great, it's fun, it's emotional, whatever. You do it the second time, it's frankly a pain, and it's a chore. So,
but if you only did it once, then would it be as special? Like if you originally played Majora's Mask, because it's the one side quest that you have to do the entire thing throughout the different days twice.
Yes.
So if you had to do all the things throughout the different days just once, would that set it apart from the other ones to make it feel less special?
I mean, it's a very heavy emotional side quest, and it still carries its own. But I just feel like having to do it 2 times, it loses its steam for me. If they just change it so that one of the endings is a separate side quest on its own, or even that you could just do both endings instead of having to choose between the 2 of them, like just adding it as an extra task in the side quest without having to do all the other steps first and having to redo Seikon's hideout and managing to match up all the days and everything and all the timing perfectly for meeting up with different characters. I just feel like that would be a great improvement for that side quest. I don't want to get rid of it. I love the quest as it is, but just it's redundant to do it 2 times. That's all. Like I said, it's a very nitpicky nitpick, but it's such a big side quest that it's a highlight of the game for me. So
Jesse's like thinking about how to fix it.
Laying it all out there.
Alright. So what would I change to make Majora's Mask better? I would give even more side quests or even more of an importance for Termina Field. Whether that's like right now, like the only side quest in Termina Field is like carrying the powder keg to the rock, I guess.
Wait, which rock?
To get into Romani Ranch early.
That's the thing, is you don't have to carry it all the way there. You can just buy one.
I don't know what I'm thinking about.
And it goes in your inventory. The one you have to carry is when you first have to earn having the powder keg as an inventory slot.
Oh, yeah.
So you carry it to the Goron racetrack.
Well, that makes it even less. Like there's nothing to do in there.
The only other thing is there's the dancing guy, Komaru. What's his name? Komaru? I want to say it's Komaru, but I can't remember.
He has
if that's
a weird
his name.
mask too.
The dancing guy with the weird mask, his ghost. You meet him in Termina Field.
A neck, and then the head.
Yeah,
it's weird.
It just looks weird. That's the only thing I can think of that actually takes place in Termina Field.
Kamaru.
Every other side quest.
Deku Crossing.
Kamaru. Okay.
I don't know how to pronounce that. Yeah. I think
Camaro, maybe.
Yeah, just give us more side quests, and then like have some of them spread out. Like don't have everything in Clocktown like it is now. And then a little bonus: put the Great Fairy Sword as not a C item.
Oh really? You don't like that?
It just felt weird.
Okay, all right, sure.
You don't?
I didn't. It doesn't bother me.
Well, it's like, okay, so they made the Iron Boots in Ocarina of Time a C item, as opposed to a gear.
For the 3DS re-release, yes.
Instead of gear, it's an item. Gear is like the clothes for everyone watching that you put on your tunic and stuff. So instead of part of your gear, it's now an item. So make this, like, do the opposite. Switch it from an item to gear. Yeah, that's my thing. Alright, so back to you, Daniel. Try to make these quick.
Things that I don't like.
Kayla's gotta buy shoes.
I do. But Ilya just sent us a message and said that she's free if you want her to join for the mailbag.
Yeah.
Sure.
I tried to type mailbag and then I just got MA and then everything else was in cap.
My laptop's dead, so
No.
I can't get any messages.
Yeah, I still need to buy shoes today and probably eat because all I've really had was like iced tea.
Yeah. So Ilya, if you want to, I don't know if she's watching. If you want to join in, you can replace Kayla. Kayla,
get out of here.
So yeah.
No.
Daniel, what is your thing that you would?
Epona needs fixing.
To go. Get rid of it.
No. I like
Jesse,
Epona.
stop trying to throw everything we love in the garbage.
Okay, well
I like Epona, but you don't. The only thing you need her for is jumping over a fence.
Yeah.
You should just have more need for Epona.
So here's the thing. I ask, what is like the top 5 things you hate? And then the first thing you say is Epona.
No,
so in my head, I'm like, why does he hate Epona?
No. I love Epona. What the problem is that Epona is vastly underutilized in this game. You need her to jump the fence to get into Great Bay, and you need her for the Romani Ranch side quest, and that's it. But she could be used so much more. I think part of why she's underused is because it's not actually faster to use her if you have the Goron Mask, but you can't get her before you get the Goron Mask.
You can't do those
you
awesome
need to have the powder keg, and yeah, you can't grow spikes out of your back and roll around at the speed of sound as with Epona. So I get why she's underutilized, because like frankly that's kind of a player's choice thing where you would just rather warp or use the Goron Mask, but just put more things, maybe more obstacles that you need Epona or something. I feel bad not using her, because you kind of have, especially because you had Epona in Ocarina of Time and everything, it's like you kind of have a bond with her already, you know? It's like an established friendship that has carried over from game to game, which you rarely see in Zelda.
Except through the story, Epona has no idea who Link is.
Well, you meet Epona as Child Link first in Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, but you get sent back to the moment you meet Zelda. So you have your memories of Epona, but Epona doesn't remember you.
Well, I assume they would have.
Sad.
I assume they would have grown together, like on their adventure into Termina.
Yeah, they had a few months, I guess.
They had some time together. Plus, he knows her song. That's all she.
That's all she cares about.
That's all she cares. She's like, you know the
like,
song.
Oh, I know this person.
Oh, you know the song? Oh, we're best friends.
You look a little bit different.
I like you. So, yes, that's my beef.
All right, Kayla, take us out.
I think my last one, which was the one that I was thinking of initially, and then I totally forgot as we were doing this. The saving. I don't like that I have to go to the owl to save.
Don't save the game. Get rid of all save in the game.
Yep. Yeah, everything has to be done in one run. No more saving.
Oh, I have played games that way, and it is not fun.
Now, they kind of improved the save feature in the 3DS remake.
Yeah.
Improved it, but didn't fix it completely. Just it wasn't bad.
So the Japanese version didn't have saving at the owl statues?
What?
Yeah.
What?
So the
what?
Okay, so Ocarina of Time has 3 save files. Majora's Mask has 2. The Japanese version of Majora's Mask has 3. Because they changed the way that you save in the game. So hold on. Japanese save file Majora's Mask change.
My
Program
computer's making a
revision
weird noise.
devices. Let me find it. Alright, so in the Japanese versions, there are 3 save files, whereas the American version restricts you to 2. This, however, comes at a price. Saving at owl statues is not possible at all in the Japanese versions, so you were required to use the Song of Time every time you wanted to save the game. Apparently, that turned out to be really annoying, so owl statues were added to the American version, which necessitated removing the 3rd save slot.
So you're telling me that saving went from terrible... Wait, what?
The Song of Soaring was used to fly to the statues. You just weren't allowed to save at the statues.
So it's not that the statues didn't exist entirely. They just added the save function onto the statues as well.
Yes.
So it went from... Like, it seems like that was already terrible. Only being able to save with the time? That's horrible.
Yeah, they basically went from, like, worst case scenario to, like, yeah, it's tolerable now.
It's like, kind of better. You have, like, almost checkpoints. You got your little temporary, like, what's it called? Temp saves sort of thing.
And then the
3DS just made it better.
3DS, you can, like, warp. Like, you can jump forward in time to where you need to be.
Yeah, there's that too. And, like, go actually along the timeline instead of just having to jump to the next 6 a.m. or 6 a.m.
Yeah.
But,
alright.
Wow.
Thank you, Kayla, for joining. Goodbye, some purple shoes.
Am I getting kicked out now?
I don't know. It's up to you. You can stay longer if you want.
Yeah, I actually had something I was supposed to watch at 5, so I'm like 15 minutes late for that, but it's all good.
If you need to, like, clear it and come back to this, we can too, but...
No, I'm good.
If whatever works. I'm flexible.
Is Ilya on? Oh, she's in the chat talking.
She said she was eating.
One of us.
I want to go eat. I'm so hungry.
What's a food?
I still haven't gone grocery shopping. I'm suffering.
No. You
My
need
Discord
food.
says streaming Fortnite with subs.
Oops.
Yeah, and then your YouTube says that you're streaming Overcooked.
Oops. Is that what it, that's not what it's... What?
If you scroll to the very bottom of it.
It's her.
It's Ilya.
One of us.
Are you home now, Ilya?
One of us.
Yeah.
Ah, welcome home.
I am home because I was gone.
Woo.
Why is it on default?
Back
Use the
from
microphone.
being gone.
There we
Gen
go.
C in the chat says this podcast has been fun. Yeah,
Woohoo.
now it's going to be even better because now's the time where we actually talk to you. Someone in the chat earlier was saying that the podcast would be better if we like answered the questions from the chat, and I said we do that at the very end. I think he got upset, but like there's a part of the podcast specifically for that. So
yes.
And that's what the super chats were for, like Gibbs earlier, donating to Daniel's Mario Kart funds. Alright, so everybody watching in the chat, we will get at least one question from the live chat that's going on right now. But this is the Zelda mailbag, so get your questions ready. If you want your questions guaranteed to be answered on the show, what do, Daniel?
Well, go to patreon.com. Get to the Game Over Jesse. For even just a $1, we'll make sure that your question is answered every single week, and we will send you a virtual hug, unless we actually do it in person. And then Jesse will hug you. I'll probably shake your hand. So
we're gonna make Daniel hug you.
Do it. Yeah. But anyways, yes, on Patreon you can guarantee that your question is answered, and there are other perks like shirts and stuff as well that you can get. So
we have new shirts.
Yes.
We have a Hylian Gamescast shirt that features all 4 of us.
Yes,
it's really cool.
These 4 humans.
Yeah, humans.
Alright,
so our first question, Kayla. Do you want to take it before you go? Just really quick.
Okay, I will do one question, and then I will get out of here.
Oh, get out of here.
We also have a giveaway going with YuriofWind in the comments and description below. You can go do that giveaway.
Go.
YuriofWind.
The giveaway.
Help him reach.
There you go. That's a good time to do that. I'm not gonna answer that question. That question's a bad question. I don't want to do that question.
300,000 subscribers as well.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna do that question. So may the Triforce guide you. A different question that you asked, not the one that you asked before about who my favorite co-host was. So this question comes from May the Triforce guide you, and he asks, what Zelda games haven't you played? And so I will just come out and say that I haven't played any of them on the DS.
Wow,
But
Kayla.
I have played all of the other ones.
I played
good,
the 3DS Zelda games.
Okay, so anything from, like, I played Phantom Hourglass, and I played Link Between Worlds, and I think that was it?
Okay. Spirit
And then there
Tracks
was
is
one
way
on the
better
Game
than
Boy
Phantom
that I played too.
Hourglass. I'm just putting that out
Yeah,
there.
Phantom Hourglass was bad. I got to the point where it was like, you had to, like, close it and then open again, and I was like, I'm done playing this game.
Yeah.
Spirit Tracks is so much better. You gotta give it a shot. Okay,
good
well,
music.
the games I have not played are the Oracle games. I never got around to them. They're still on my list. Both
Oh.
Oracle of Ages and Seasons I have not played.
Yeah, you're quiet.
Like my microphone is quiet?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
you're-
have you turned all the way up so I can't make you louder at all.
Hashtag turn up.
I could have sworn I did.
You can turn the knob on your
Microphone.
Yeti.
Friendly reminder that Jesse is a dad.
What?
Sorry, not Jesse. Daniel is a dad, and he wants to turn up.
Well, Jesse's a dad too.
I am-
Jesse's
I
also
am-
a dad. But
Is this better?
Oh,
Yes.
yes.
Highly dad's cast.
Okay.
Sounds
the
great.
dad cast.
Good to know.
Great.
We
I'm
have,
about to come back. I just need to grab something really, really, really quick.
Alright, we have the spin-offs, the Hylian Gamescast, the Hylian Babes cast, and the Hylian Dads cast.
Yeah. Because we're not babes.
Yeah, when it's just I guess when it's just the guys on, it's the Hylian Dads cast, but when it's the girls on, it's the Babes cast. Whenever I first seen that comment on one of the videos, it actually made me laugh.
Unless it's like, never mind. This is not going to be appropriate. I'm just going to save that for time when we're not streaming.
Alright.
Okay.
Put it in our
Jesse,
message.
Which Zelda games have you not played?
Zelda games. I'm sorry.
BS, The Legend of Zelda, The Ancient Stone Tablets.
Ooh.
No one, technically
Okay.
speaking, no one
All right.
has really played that game because the version that you can download the ROM for is like a fan recreation of it, because originally it had to be played live because it had the announcer talking into the microphone telling you what your objective was. Obviously, there's no way to accurately recreate that because it would be random events that the narrator would tell you to do. Like he would say, hey, there's an item in this dungeon. Go get that item so you can make it to this part of the game. You can't do that, so they programmed it to make it mimic what it was doing. So
Okay, I guess you got us on a technicality there.
that's probably the one that I haven't been able to play.
What about the other ones, Jesse? The widely accepted official releases.
You've played all of them?
Have you played all of them? Jesse. I'm impressy.
Are you sure? There might be a
impressed.
secret deep down there. He looks like he's thinking.
He hasn't
on.
played any of them.
A Link to the Past, Link's Awakening. Okay,
It's a sham,
I'm just gonna
guys.
keep
They
listening
look
until you
like
say
Breath
you
of the
haven't played one.
Four Swords Adventures,
Oh,
the GameCube
okay.
version.
Okay.
I have that.
Okay.
I played it.
I didn't enjoy it because I had no one to play it with.
I played it.
Fair.
on
Gotta come over so we
No,
can
I
play
got
it.
two. I got two. So, the Four Swords Adventures on the GameCube. I played it on an emulator for like 10 seconds. And the second one is Tetra Trackers.
Ilya, what are you eating right now?
Tetra Trackers was
Navi
unreleased.
Trackers.
Navi Trackers.
Homemade barbecue pork.
I thought.
Oh, that sounds so good. My stomach just growled.
I'm sorry.
So it was a minigame add-on similar to how Star Fox Zero released with like the weird thing, the second disc.
Right.
the Japanese version of Four Swords Adventures had Tetra Trackers, which was a second mini game where like the four links would just kind of do like mini game stuff. But it had Tetra with a voice actor talking. The first time voice acting was actually in a Zelda game. She
Other than the BS Zelda?
Yeah, they even had the programming was so good that when even if you didn't type in your name as Link or whatever, they still pre-recorded a bunch of names. So if you typed in your name, there's a chance that Tetra would say your name. So those two.
I want Tetra to say my name.
Yeah. Tubes.
I don't think they recorded Chublima.
Probably not.
Yeah.
But probably Chewbacca, which is close enough.
All right, Daniel, take the question. No. What game have you?
I have
it's
an
not time
answer.
for you. Yeah, we haven't gone around. Sorry.
Yeah, Ilya has an answer.
I'm skipping.
That's why I'm still here.
All right, Ilya. All of them.
I haven't played the CDI games.
Okay.
Which
Okay,
I
are
should
we just... I just
Okay,
feel like
I
I
do have a-
automatically discounted those. Like,
Daniel,
No, I was joking.
I think
Okay.
Daniel was wanting us to answer with like official Nintendo
that's,
Zelda
that's
games.
No,
what
I
thought
will.
we were doing.
And
but
I do
we're
wanna
talking
clarify
about
something.
BS games and CDI games.
Yeah, Jesse.
Well, I am wondering, when we say Zelda game, obviously we mean more than like 10 minutes, but do you need to have completed the game? Because what if there are games that you got like halfway
I
through?
don't count that because I never completed Four Swords Adventures, but I played quite a bit of it, so I still counted it, right?
Yeah, I figured it was based
So-
on like you got the idea of the game.
Yeah. But I stopped
Even
playing
so,
because I was playing by myself and it was not fun. So,
even so, I just want to preface before I answer this question. Please don't unfollow me, anyone.
It's okay, I already came out and said I didn't play the ones on DS, so.
What I have not played, at least not a significant amount or at all, A Link to the Past. I played that. Minish Cap. Oracle Games. Four Swords Adventures. I've watched Skyward Sword, but the others I have played. No, not the DS games, not the sequels to Wind Waker. I am so sorry.
Ilya.
But I have watched. But I've watched like Let's Plays of all these. But see, I played Link's Awakening, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, Breath of the Wild, and I've watched a full Let's Play of Skyward Sword.
Whose Let's Play was it?
I don't know. Part of it was yours, Jesse.
Well, we just busted Ilya.
Alright.
Well,
Busted.
I'm gonna head out because
sorry.
I have to go be a Nintendo guru today.
Oh yeah, you gotta do your stuff.
There's
There's a YouTube channel called Nintendo Guru. He
Yeah,
does.
wait a minute, there is.
Yeah, he does talk stuff like us, like we're doing right now.
Wow.
I think
Fun
follow
fact, we
on.
recently changed our name. Now we're the NBA, so we're technically basketball players. Anyways,
All right.
thank you for having me on today, Jesse. And
Where
it
can
was
people
nice-
find you?
Give us
Okay.
plugs.
You can find me at Chublima on Twitter and Instagram and Tumblr and RuneScape. And most recently, when I have time, after all of this Nintendo stuff that happens, I got a new computer set up. So you guys can come follow me on Twitch too, and I will come stream games.
Yeah.
And depending on the game, Jesse's okay with me restreaming it to his channel. So I hope to see all of you guys there.
And you've streamed a couple times already as well. So
Yeah.
Yes,
fun.
I streamed
It's been a fun time.
Overcooked twice.
You'll know
And then
she's
Ori and the
streaming
Blind Forest
when
once.
she's in the thumbnail.
Alrighty.
Yes.
All right. Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Goodbye, Chuby.
I don't know where the hang up button is. Bye.
Bye.
All right.
Oh, wow.
Finally.
No,
Gosh.
she's gone. So
No,
what is
she just picks up her
question?
phone after she leaves, and she's like, "That's what they say about me."
Oh my goodness.
How rude.
Yeah. Ilya,
See,
you weren't with us earlier. How was your day?
it was good.
Cool. Do you have a question?
I think so. Yes.
I think you submitted a question.
No,
I did. I think it was from last week.
Because we talked about this earlier in one of the other videos. What were your thoughts on the drawing from Jonathan of all of us?
Oh! I was like the winter pool. I'm so confused. I freaking love that.
The fan art.
That was so cool, and the attention to detail too. Like the fact that mine had a cross necklace. I was like, because I'm almost always wearing a cross necklace, or there's a cross in the background, and giving me my elf ears. I was just like, and I think also for me, because I feel like a very unknown person. Not that I like am complaining about that. I'm like, someone made fan art with me in it. Oh, okay. So, I thought it was really cool, and I'm really glad it's been made into shirts.
Yeah. When I get paid from YouTube, I have to order one.
Yes.
They're so new, none of us own one.
I know.
All right.
And for four in one place, we have to wear them.
Yeah. It would be like shirt inception, is what I said earlier, because like we're all there and we're all wearing shirts of all of us there.
Well, that's just a group photo that has to happen.
Yeah.
And we all gotta arrange ourselves in shirt order. So.
And if you would like to purchase a shirt, it is teespring.com/Hylian Gamescast.
Do it.
And the other shirt is
Do it.
/GameOverJesse new.
Do it.
Yes.
If you want. No pressure.
It's really cool.
So.
Thank you, Jonathan.
It's cool.
I think that's how to pronounce your name. There's no
Jonathan.
H there. It's like Jonathan without an
I
H.
noticed he comments on a lot of my videos too, so I was like, wow.
He does.
So cool.
All right, Ilya, question.
See, it comes from Teddy Bear today. Oh, I read that as all one word. Teddy Bear today at 12:11. So, we already know that Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is receiving more content thanks to Breath of the Wild Link being added. What other content would you like to see added? Granted, we did kind of already talk about this when we were debating what it was going to be.
A whole, like, segment on it.
But I'm wondering if, like, with this new information, like, if that would maybe pare down more of what we think would happen. But if we're just talking Fantasyland, I still say they should add Double Dash as a feature. But I don't know if that's really something you can add as DLC. Well, I think you could.
You could.
I don't know.
The thing with that, I imagine if they were doing something as simple as just adding Double Dash, like that is something so simple that they could do.
Yeah.
That would allow them to actually put out Mario Kart 9 and have it like, you know, just new tracks and stuff. But the big change where like Mario Kart 8 had the gravity thing, Mario Kart 9's big thing could be bringing back Double Dash. So I think that would be great DLC, but it would be so great that it could potentially completely change the game.
True.
Yes.
Because it would be a big enough feature for people to be like, oh, this is, you know, this is a new thing. So it'd be like Mario Kart 8 Super Deluxe. I don't know.
Super Deluxe.
But that's.
I just don't want to buy another, but I'm willing to buy DLC.
Yeah, I'm willing to pay $15, but not $60.
Not $60.
Your thoughts?
But then again, if they made a new game, Mario Kart 9, with that, maybe Daniel would actually buy it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I see how it is.
Granted, I haven't played it with anyone anyway, so.
Have you played it by yourself?
Oh yeah, tons.
All right, Daniel.
Okay. What's I don't know. We kind of did talk about this quite a lot.
Yeah.
When we had that podcast segment, so I was trying to think of something different.
Well, you can just move on to the next question if you want.
Yeah, I skimmed through the questions, but I was like,
okay.
I'm not with it right now, if I'm completely honest.
9:52 a.m.
Actually, I wanted to pick that one. I should since Ilia's here, but I'm just gonna do it because that one's it's a fun.
Another question of mine when I was here, I think, had to do with Pokemon.
We'll just do it.
I don't remember what my question is.
I finally have a question. If all the Links had to duke it out in a battle in pairs going until one is left, so like tourney style, who would you root for / who do you think would be the winner?
I don't even know my own answer to this.
I don't know. Yeah, that's tough because each one has kind of something. I feel like any of the 2D Links would probably, if we're just looking at how they control in combat in game, a lot of the 2D Links would fail because the combat is too basic. The Wind Waker Link has like parries, so he can like dodge attacks and counter strike. Twilight Princess Link has very similar techniques as well, but he's bigger. Breath of the Wild Link has Flurry Rush.
Ooh.
So you could use that, and he would probably do really well actually, because all he'd have to do is one dodge, pretty much automatically gets several hits free. Majora's Mask Link can transform into a Goron though. I mean, that's got to be or Fierce Deity. That's got to be a big advantage.
That's true. And he wouldn't be in Clocktown, so he could.
There you go. So this is a hard question. I want to say almost young Hero of Time because he could be. I assume this would be like a boss fight. Like, conquer yourself, not just Dark Link. It's every Link in a tournament. I feel almost it would come between young Link using Fierce Deity Mask versus Breath of the Wild Link using Flurry Rush, having that ability. I don't know. That's hard. I think it would come down between the two of them. I don't know who would come out on top there. I don't. What do you guys think? Any thoughts further here?
I would say either. I think it would come down to Skyward Sword Link, Hero of Time Link, or Breath of the Wild Link.
Poor Twilight Princess Link. He's just
Twilight Princess Link. He knows all of those moves, but
he learned them from
the Hero of Time.
Yeah, true.
And then Skyward Sword Link defeated basically like a god. Like a evil demon god. Where I guess Ganondorf calls himself a demon king as well, but Demise actually was a demon, so
yeah,
that's a feat, and it was an actual like fierce sword battle. And then Breath of the Wild Link has all of the upgrades from the different people. So yeah.
Oh, we got a $20 donation from Bootleg Boy.
No way.
I gotta go. Have a nice day, people.
Thank you.
You too.
Banged my elbow on my desk just now, but thank you, Bootleg Boy.
What does SEK? What country is that?
Oh, maybe it's not $20. 20 SEK. He still donated 20 something.
And that's very nice.
Yeah, it's about $2.18 American.
Well, thank you, Bootleg Boy Advance SP.
Thank you, Bootleg, because he's already a Patreon, so he already gives some.
Do we have a question from him in here?
I don't know.
I'm gonna just take a look, because if so, we should probably jump to that real quick.
Bootleg. Nope.
No, I don't see it. Oh no.
Dang it.
Yeah.
Do we have any Patreon questions?
So I'm going to say Skyward Sword, because he was trained as a knight. All of the others grew up and learned sword combat. Skyward Sword Link was raised learning it.
Okay, I'm going to counter your point. Breath of the Wild Link, at age 4, was able to beat trained knights in combat.
Because he shares the blood of the spirit of the hero or whatever.
They all do though.
Yeah, but Link was the he's the original hero.
Sure.
So like the spirit that they share is his spirit. I feel he's the one that's reincarnated with them. He's the original. And then he had
he has the complete Triforce as well. Skyward Sword Link.
Well, he doesn't keep it.
True, but he does obtain it at one point.
Like the sealed temple is the temple of time. So they eventually use that to seal away the Triforce. So he doesn't necessarily have it. Like I was joking yesterday with there was the one of the descriptions of the king from Minish Cap. There's a ghost of a king that you end up seeing later on.
Yeah.
It said that I forgot how it was worded, but he would frequently use the Triforce to keep peace in his kingdom. So I made the joke, he's sitting on his throne with the Triforce beside him. And anytime an evil being comes to Hyrule, he's just like, nope.
Nope, get out.
And just vanishes them away. So
would make life easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one way to do it.
He has his coffee in one hand, and someone comes in and is like, there's a monster. Like in Harry Potter, there's a troll in the dungeon.
He's like, okay.
He's like, alright.
Let me take care of this. It's over. Plus, Triforce, okay. He's not going to be a problem anymore.
Yeah, because a lot of people think that when you use the Triforce, it disappears or something like that. But it's not like the Dragon Balls. When you make a wish, and then they disappear for a year, and then you can use them after a year. It's not like that. It's continuous. It doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't do anything. You could make 50 wishes at once if you wanted.
Just as seen in Skyward Sword when they do wish upon the Triforce.
Yeah, you just
but they keep it. It doesn't poof away or anything. So
for the people that the Dragon Ball Z reference for Goku right there. And then there's the links and the drumsticks. Drumsticks were given. That's not a drumstick. That's the wrong way.
Oh well, you got it.
The drumsticks were given to me by my favorite band.
Whoa.
When we hung out. Escape the Fate.
I think that was upside down. That's okay. Okay, so I feel like it would come between those two, though. Skyward Sword and Breath of the Wild Link. But it's really tight between them. I find it's... I don't know, man.
Did Skyward Sword Link have any special powers?
The Skyward
Strike? But I guess technically that's just the sword beam.
And then
which
Breath of the Wild Link has the golden
can do as well. He has golden poop.
That makes the sword beam stronger.
He can upgrade his stamina meter, and Skyward Sword Link can't.
And if he has a full stamina meter with a flurry rush,
that's true. So I don't know. It depends on how you're looking at this, because in my head, I'm trying to look how.
I was just thinking,
the actual
Skyward
sword
Link has the claw shots, so he could just hook up on a hill.
Spider-Man his way.
Breath of the Wild Link's paragliding in and is pulls out his bow, starts doing the slow-mo thing, just claw shots him, and brings him over. Nope.
Let's just say it's a tie.
It's a tie. They both end up shaking hands in the end.
But since it was your question, who do you think, Ilya?
Okay, because I was thinking about, kind of along the same lines as Daniel, about the young hero of time, but with regard to the fact that he becomes the hero shade and he teaches all the moves to Twilight Princess Link, I was thinking maybe those moves weren't learned until he was an adult though, in that timeline. So I was like, I don't know, and I wasn't thinking using the masks only because I was thinking just sword, but then again I wouldn't want to deprive any Link of their special abilities because that's what makes them unique.
But I feel also like Wind Waker Link's parry would be a big deal. Like pretty much anytime an enemy or one of the other Links attacks him, if he just parried and got a free hit on him, like,
but then
that's a big
advantage. And then you can do the spin attack.
Twilight Princess Link has the, is it the final blow?
True. So
where like you can just
Skyward
like,
Sword
tap
Link
the
and
button,
Twilight
and
Princess
he does
Link
like
both.
the one-hit kill from Twilight Princess Link.
Breath of the Wild Link has sneak attack.
Yeah.
If you can sneak up on him.
That's true.
Why am I here? Am I here for battle? I don't know. Even though I don't know a ton about Skyward Sword based on what I do know. I don't know how to answer my own question. I'd probably say Breath of the Wild Link because of the Flurry Rush.
What kind of chair are you on, Ilya?
What kind of chair?
Yeah.
A wooden chair that is from my great-grandmother's childhood.
Nice. What about you, Daniel?
This is a cheap $60 IKEA chair.
Well, then it's not cheap.
IKEA.
It was the less expensive option of the other chairs they had.
Yeah, but 60 still a lot, I guess. I don't know. Maybe not for like a new office chair.
Anyways,
Anyways,
is pretty expensive in general, but
the next question.
You could buy a Switch game with that money.
anyone in particular, Ilya?
Low-Rulian Historian
I'm not saying anything.
asks today at 10:59 a.m. What's your take on the notion that the Twilight, or more accurately, their ancestors, the Interlopers, were originally a coalition of magic users from various tribes, and not a single tribe in and of themselves? So I have a video I posted a long time ago. I'm actually redoing some of the videos that I made a long time ago. The one I'm redoing right now is about Demise. Ilya kindly recorded audio for it. It also features audio from Dr. Wily and Commonwealth Realm and RMFH.
Which makes me feel really cool.
Yeah. And Connor, or Sexy Mac, is on it as well. Sexy McIntyre. So, has all of them in it. I think I have like 2 sentences in the script. Just enough to say I'm there. Anyways, there's an old video like that one that covers this. I don't know why I did that to my face. And there's a lot of theories from people, like literally every theory on YouTube about the Twilight suggests that it's like a mix. It's either just the Sheikah, either just the Gerudo, or a mix of the two. But it doesn't necessarily explain the blue skin, unless the light from the Twilight Realm just tans your skin blue, similar to how our sun tans our skin.
That was kind of my assumption, was that it was just like exposure to that.
Yeah.
Being in a different realm causes them to change physically. That was kind of my assumption.
So,
but go on.
After Twilight Princess, there is 4 swords. So, hold on. I gotta remember the name. Desiree's.
Zuna tribe? Is that who you're bringing up? Ah, the green people.
Yeah.
The most annoying of tribes.
So, there is a tribe that lives in the desert, not the Gerudo, that appear after Twilight Princess in 4 Swords Adventures in Zuna Village, and they already have similar colored skin to that of the Twilight, and they just happen to live in the desert where the Gerudo and the Twilight and everyone else live. But they're not tan like the Gerudo. They have skin. Like you really can't tell because they're like 2D sprites. But they have the same similar skin tone. And my theory suggests that it's a mix of the 3. The one that I posted. Because no one ever mentions the Zuna, and I thought it was weird because I'm like, well, they have the same colored skin, and the game takes place literally after Twilight Princess. So is it has to be more than a coincidence. What was it? Ganondorf was in the Twilight Realm with the people, whatever, and yeah, like he was in the Twilight Realm with the Twilight people. And when he gets out or whatever, like it's a different Ganondorf in Four Swords Adventures, I think. But the weapon, the trident that Ganondorf gets is being held by the Zuna. So like there's another connection there, I think. I don't know. But yeah, I think it's just a mix of the three. Like, because they're magic users, like the Sheikah. We know Gerudo were probably sent there like Ganondorf was. Like whoever the Gerudo were that was following him. And then the good Gerudo were left on their own. Because not all of them followed Ganondorf. Because if they were all sent there, there would be none for Breath of the Wild, I guess. Depending on where you think. I don't know. It's confusing. Anyways, yeah, I think it's just like a mix of the Zuna, the Sheikah, and the Gerudo. So it's like just a mix of the three races. And then that's how you get the skin tone. That's how you get the magic users. And the connection with the Gerudo is still there as well. As Zant's throne has like the Gerudo symbol on it, like behind him, I believe. And yeah, so basically what Hylian was saying about it being a tribe that was like a mix of races, I think it's the same. But those are the three that I think are like mixed together.
Yeah, I mean, I always assume there's probably some Hylian in there as well, because a lot of them look very like. And I feel like it's just sort of maybe a group of people that were attempting this that had some kind of alliance that just got banished, and not like all the Sheikah got banished and all the Gerudo got banished, or what have you, that some people kind of assume. So
what's the term that people use when it's like a bunch of different races, like a melting pot?
Yeah,
of like different races. But I don't know. When I was in middle school, that was what they used. They would say like America's a melting pot of races, because there's like tons of different cultures and races that all mix together.
I talked about that in my senior thesis.
Oh,
interesting.
You know what's funny is there's an old social studies textbook when I was in high school that referenced that, and a lot of people say America is a melting pot of cultures, but we think Canada's a hearty stew because it doesn't melt them down, but there's just chunks of everything. And I always was like, this is a really weird book. Like, who wrote this?
Was that a jab at us? Okay.
Is this a joke? Is this just like the metaphor both kind of make no sense? So it was weird.
Yeah.
High school textbooks that were like 10 years old already, so.
All right. So that's my thing. Ilya, what do you think about the tribe, the Twilight? They make masks.
Twilight.
They make masks.
I don't know why. I don't necessarily think this out now, but I was this was back before I really understood the timeline a little better. I mean, then again, how do you understand the timeline? But because it's confusing. I had, again, this isn't necessarily what I think now, but I had at one time thought that they were the result, like that it was low roll in a sense for some reason. I had that they were like
low roll or the dark
like if low roll. What do they call it? No, low roll, because I'm thinking of A Link Between Worlds.
So this wasn't when you were younger. This was like a few years ago.
I say younger. I was still in college.
College isn't younger.
Yeah,
college
it is.
Like, all right.
I feel old, but like I had this thought until I understood that they were in timelines. That well, maybe those are the people of Low Rule. If they hadn't had their Triforce restored, I don't know. That was just a weird phase I went through. I was really confused, and then I actually played the two games, and I was like, oh.
But actually, that kind of would make sense because
we can
if the
see what the
Triforce was
Bible
only-
says about the Twilight.
But if
The
the
Bible
Triforce was
says
only-
about the Twilight.
But if
That
the
one's
Triforce
wrong,
was
though.
only restored in one timeline and wasn't restored in the other one, let's say,
That's true, because we
Then-
never see Low Rule in another timeline.
and in Low Rule, let's say it's falling apart. Yeah, and from what we see of it, right? Like like huge fissures in the ground, canyons. It's like literally the land is falling apart, the earth is splitting.
Yep.
And when you go to the Twilight Realm, do you see any ground whatsoever? Like
No.
it's literally just buildings that have been suspended in the air. Those are the Kikwi.
It says the Twilight were once a group of criminals who sought the power of the Triforce using magic and were banished from the Light
So,
World. Sounds
they're
like
Australia.
every other parallel world
Australia.
to the Twilight
Yeah.
Realm. They maintain a monarchy much like those in Hyrule, and their leaders are generally those with the strongest magical power.
That sounds okay.
That literally
I mean,
answered no
weren't
question.
criminals
that's-
sent there?
That's very
Yeah, it says
Not
criminals.
like
yeah. So
Well,
I mean, it's not
well-
necessarily like one race. It's just a mixed bag
Bad
of
people.
criminals that got sent away.
and kind of like what was talked about in the Majora's Mask thing that I just did a voiceover for, about how, with the tribes, the ancient ones, this tribe, they never really give names, so it lends way to it could just be a little bit of everything. In this timeline they call it this, but in this timeline they call it that. Also, I just always thought it was freak they had red eyes.
Yes, I always did think there was also a connection between the ancient tribe as well, the Twilight race, because of the Majora's Mask eye design that's similar on the Few Shadow. And a lot of the sort of motif with all the lines and the complex designs are similar, but if you compare the two, but less colorful, obviously, on the Few Shadow. So I figured there may have been a connection there, or maybe some of the ancient tribe were banished, and they kept throwing more people, just criminal, banished, just pop them into the Twilight Realm. So it could have started as one tribe, and then they just kept more and more people in there, and everything just fused and became one tribe after hundreds of years, or who knows. There's so much that's not explained, so
Hyrule is thinking about it, Hyrule's horrible because there are all these different realms, and like anytime there's bad people in Hyrule, they just send the bad people to the other realms.
Yeah, just banish them to the sacred realm
Instead of keeping them,
seal them away
in an actual prison, they send them to other areas. So like, what was it? So the Dark World was originally the sacred realm, the realm of the gods. That's where like the Light Temple was, where the Triforce was kept. It was basically like a version of Hyrule's heaven, I guess. And then all of the bad people kept trying to break in to steal the Triforce. So
and then they banished Ganondorf to there.
Yeah, so what they did is like they sealed it off to where those bad people couldn't come back to Hyrule. So they left all the bad people there to terrorize all the people who were already living freely in that realm. And they did the same with the Twilight Realm. So like if people already existed in the Twilight Realm, then they're just sending all these bad people there to get away. There's a fly. Get away.
Well, and you kind of see the repercussion of that with Zant, because he was like a kind of a miserable failure, weakling guy that thought he should be the king, but he would not have had a chance at being king. And then the sages are like, Ganondorf's a problem, we can't execute him, banish him. And they send him there, and Ganondorf's able to use Zant and corrupt him and give him more power, and then that ends up biting them when Zant invades Hyrule. So it's just like this mindless banish like cycle of banishment and sealing away that really causes them more trouble, because same thing as well, Ganon in A Link to the Past was Ganondorf sealed in the Sacred Realm from Ocarina of Time, and he corrupted the Sacred Realm and turned it into the Dark World, and then was able able to attack Hyrule as Aghanim. So basically, that was bad. They shouldn't do that. Yes. Thank you for attending my sermon. Thank you, everybody.
Right,
I will do lectures every week.
Who all has picked a question?
I have.
I did a quest.
Okay, so all three of us have?
Yeah.
All right, Ilya, pick a question. The final question.
Final question. Wait, where'd it go? Where'd the thingamajigger go?
Oh, earlier someone was asking where I got this. I bought it for $30 from an Etsy shop, I think called We Wear Crochet. And she actually, her daughter is a fan of the YouTube channel. So when I first purchased it, she sent me a message and was like, hey, thank you so much for buying the hat. You made me the cool mom because my daughter is a fan. And she got excited because I was making a thing for one of the channels that she likes. So you can go there, and she makes, I think there's the Picori hat.
Ooh.
To look like Eslo.
Oh. That's neat.
There's like Pikmin hats. There's yeah, I said that specifically.
Sorry.
There's a bunch of different. There are Nintendo and non-Nintendo related crochet hats. I wanted a Link hat to wear for the podcast, something to make me a bit more nerdy, and if my hair wasn't completely fixed or whatever, then I could just like wear a hat.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So
yeah, she's in our Discord too, isn't she?
I bought it.
She's in the Discord,
and it was the coolest one that I seen. So
oh, he's not wearing his headphones.
That's why I got
Jesse.
And it was handmade.
She's in our Discord, right? Though
We Wear Crochet.
Yeah, she's in our Discord, isn't she? As well.
I don't know.
I thought she joined. At least I might be wrong.
I've seen her in the live chats because she's like, "Thank you for wearing the hat."
It's free advertising.
Yeah.
So
all right, Ilya, you found the thing.
I have found the thing. So, yesterday at 10:27 p.m., Jonah from across the river asked, in what region of Breath of the Wild's Hyrule would you like to live? And I mean towns, ranches, isles, or anywhere. And thinking on that, I did wonder, I was like, are we talking about when it was in a good state, or... Well, he said Breath of the Wild's Hyrule, so I assume 100 years,
like
the bad
Hyrule.
Hyrule.
Calamity.
I guess, yeah, post-Calamity. And while the Calamity's going on, I would probably say, as much as I don't really care for staying in tropical places for long, and I hate fish, I would actually probably say, oh my gosh, what is it called? Starts with an L.
Village?
Yes, Lurelin Village. Because that's like the most peaceful place there is.
I have a thing for you on that. Kakariko Village is a village for the Sheikah. So I imagine the Sheikah, and this is just speculation, since there are so many Sheikah living there, and they all study the culture and stuff, they have some sort of protection to keep the monsters from coming in.
Yeah. I feel like all the places do. Have you ever, like, accidentally gotten, like, a skeleton Lizalfo to come chasing after you, and then you get to a certain area near a stable, and they just stand there?
Yeah.
You can't come. There are NPCs nearby.
Nah, I've never had that happen, actually, but...
Well, there's some people that have taken, like, guardians to the stables and stuff.
There was a little gif of, they got a Stalker Guardian and a Hinox together, and the Hinox just like swatted the Spider Guardian, the Guardian, and it just disappeared, and it was hilarious.
Nice.
I also saw one where they got a Stone Tower Guardian to fight, and the poor Guardian didn't stand a chance because it couldn't. The Stone Talus' weak spot, it couldn't hit it with its lasers. It hit it straight on, it wouldn't do any damage. And the Stone Talus would then like throw its rock arm at the Guardian and whoop its butt. There's just,
I
like,
could
never
see Breath
stood
of the
a
Wild
chance.
Link doing that and then sitting back and like just eating some of his food or sipping tea and being like, this works.
I want to imagine him eating food delicately, but all I can imagine is going like,
Yeah.
like just.
Wasn't there an evil guy living in Kakariko?
A which guy?
There's a bad guy living in Kakariko?
Kind of.
Sort of.
Well, I went out of focus. Here. Sort of. He was like a Yiga defector. So he used to be in the Yiga clan, and he quit and joined the Sheikah. And then the Yiga killed his wife, and were like, "You're gonna be our informant, or we're gonna kill your children." And so he would leak information to them in order to spare his kid's life. And then once you finish the side quest, you basically free him of that
That's so
obligation.
sad.
It's like one of the most like, oh my goodness, this is like
I feel
really
so bad for
heart-wrenching.
him.
Yeah.
I always feel bad for the older daughter, and she's trying to cook, and you know, she's like, I can't be like mom, and I'm like,
because their mom is dead. It's ching, honestly. It's
there's a
heartbreaking.
lot of sad stuff in there.
Yeah.
But yes, that is my answer, Lurlin,
Horrible.
because
I was between
I like some of the other
Hateno.
villages, but
Yeah.
So
I choose Lorelin as well. it's so peaceful, and it's got such a nice atmosphere to it. I love it. It's in that vacation spot that you want to go to, and
I've heard so
Even though
many
I hate
people
seafood.
say that they've played through like 100 hours of the game and they never knew Laurelin Village existed.
that was me.
yeah.
It took me so long to find it before realizing it was even there.
Nice.
I think I had already heard about it by the time I started playing Breath of the Wild over Christmas, I guess. And I got to this point where I had opened up the entire map, but I was like, I feel like I'm missing a village, and I was like watching a theory video or something, and they were like in Lurelin, and I was like, I haven't found that place yet. So I kept trying to find it, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, there's one of
Actually, surprisingly, thought about the Rito village for a split second. I thought about there because I like cold weather.
Yeah.
Rito it's nice as well, but I feel like I'm like too worried about heights myself.
Yeah.
So I would not be comfortable there.
would
Obviously, I
catch you.
couldn't live in Gerudo Town because they
too
wouldn't
hot.
let me in.
Oh, yeah.
Also,
I
it's
could
too
live
hot.
there.
Yeah, it would
Yeah.
be too hot for me. I'm Canadian. LA was too hot for me. So
Yeah, try
I
living
would
where I
not
am.
be okay. I would not be okay in Gerudo Town.
I like the idea. For me, I would go back and forth on the idea of living in Gerudo Town for a couple of reasons. One, because I hate the heat. But also, there's part of me that's like, wow, I wouldn't have to, like, I know I'd be accepted there immediately, but at the same time, when I lived in an all-female dorm, like, it was an all-female dorm that had about 500 women in it. I'm sorry, too much estrogen. No, women are too
They
crazy.
Tell you are too short. We cannot see your abs.
What?
There's a Gerudo in Gerudo Town. If you talk to her, and she's like, "Oh, it's nice to see a Hylian lady like you around," and if you can tell her, "Actually, I'm a Gerudo," that's a lie. And she'll be like, "No, you're not. You are short, and I cannot see your abs. You are not a Gerudo." And I'm like, okay, also, all the Gerudo have red hair, but sure, let's go to the abs thing.
That's why we know he's not a Gerudo.
Wow.
That's how you know.
And it's funny that they all have red hair, considering you don't know who they're getting with to breed. And
Dominant
that was not the way.
gene in Gerudo
Well, isn't there
genealogy,
one?
I guess.
I guess because I'm thinking in, I guess real life. I think because it's not it's a dominant gene. Never thought about that.
Yeah.
That's a weird line.
Well, there
But
is
then
It
again,
is,
Breath of
but
the
it
Wild
makes me
those.
laugh.
there's the side quest where you help the Gerudo find someone.
Yeah.
So we know who she's getting with. But anyways, and then there's like the weird Zora relationship with like the Zora and the Hylian,
Yeah, that makes me uncomfortable.
and like one's like hundreds
Because
of years
Zora's-
old. Well, like one's
Or
like a
something.
normal person, like normal age for a human, and then the Zora's like hundreds of years old. I believe.
No, isn't it that it's a Zora child, but because Zora lives so much longer, they're like, she's still older than him or something? Is that, or am I thinking of a different one? Is there more than one weird Zora relationship?
I don't know if I know what this is.
There's a side quest where you have to help guide. She puts her letter in like a barrel, sends it downstream. You have to help guide it. She's a child. He's a Hylian adult. But because she's a Zora child and Zora lifespans are so much longer, she's actually older than him. Something weird like that. And so yeah, it's just they end up being in a relationship, and it's weird. It's really, I don't know how to feel about it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. Looking at that, I guess I'm like, you're older than him, but I can't help but think this is not okay because he's older, but he's not. But he's an adult.
But yeah,
you're older.
Weird interspecies relationships.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Daniel. Okay, so quick recap because we got off topic. Ilya, where do you want to live?
Lurelin.
Daniel.
You know what? I want to say Lurelin, but I feel like maybe
we could be neighbors.
Would be nicer to live in because they have more general. Like they've got a general store that's got more than seafood to eat. And
what
that's
place
true.
was
I
it?
hate seafood.
Hateno.
Okay.
Hateno seems just like a nice place to live, but the thing is, like, when exploring the villages, like Lurelin has such a nice. That's my first thought. If I overthink it, and logically I want to say Hateno, but just my first thing that comes to my head is I want to say Lurelin. So I'm just gonna stick with that because
we could be neighbors.
Be neighbors in this fictional village. It's so quaint though, and it's so atmospheric, and there's the ocean. I grew up on the West Coast, so I love the ocean. So
I grew up on the East Coast.
And this is Hyrule. You know what's crazy? We see these areas like Lurelin Village and stuff, and imagine they look similar to how they did 100 years ago because they weren't part of the castle that was destroyed.
Right.
But we never see... We see the destruction of a few villages, like, spread out that were never restored.
Right.
One of them...
So it's possible
is
some
like,
of them didn't exist even 100 years before.
So, like, Lon Lon Ranch, we see it destroyed. We know what it looked like in Ocarina of Time, but we don't know what it looked like 100 years prior in Breath of the Wild.
Right. But there's a village. There's like the Mabe Village ruins, which are like right beside the ranch ruins. There was like it wasn't just the ranch. There was the ranch and a whole village there too.
Yeah, it was like everything that was in Hyrule Central Field. Because like to the left of the castle, it's where you get like some of the DLC chests.
Right.
Yeah.
There's like destroyed stuff. Anyways, I would say I like the Lurelin Village as well because it's right next to the ocean, and then there's that cool swirly land thing. I think
Yeah, there's one. There is one there. Near Palmora Ruins, there's the beach that rolls out, and there's two that are like swirly up, but that's one of them. Is there? You're right.
And I remember like one of the funnest moments that I had was just doing a live stream and like trying to shoot the birds that were like flying over the lake. And then like it would drop the food down in the water, and then you have to like swim out and get it. And then there's also the fish and stuff. It seemed like one of the most thought out villages in the game because there was the market area, there was the place where like there was the boat, the guy like trying to protect it. There's the guy like trying to, I think he's trying to cook food. And then they have their symbols, like the Zonai symbols are like all over, which add it to the lore of the Zonai, like the ancient barbarian people. So, it's a lot of stuff. I guess that's the end of the mailbag.
I guess
and
so.
the end of the podcast.
Yes.
All right. So, Ilya.
Who are you and why are you here?
I'm here because Jesse hired me a few months ago, and it's been great.
I hired you.
Well, I won a contest, and I did a voiceover, and then y'all kept me.
Hired
Basically, that
was
how that happened.
People work for me. I don't like that term. Like, Daniel's more in charge of the podcast than I am.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, because, like, every time that we have the podcast, I'm like, Daniel, when are we having the podcast?
Well, then Kayla, too, because a lot of times... I don't know, but you're right. I guess just the timing.
Like, I put it all together.
You do all the hard work. you do all the hard work.
Well, like, I do like, the research
I'm good
and
for
stuff,
noon.
But... yeah.
But yeah, I do voiceovers here, but I do other things too. So if you want to look at my YouTube, which is just Ilia Rose, I do videos, mainly Zelda, but sometimes other things, every other Wednesday. And you can find me at Rose_Ilia on Twitter. You can find me on the Instagram at IliaRose_GeekApprentice. And Hyrule Amino, I just actually did something on there. There's some contest thing that I did something for. But you can find me on Hyrule Amino
sometimes.
At what? What am I doing? What is my name on there? It's just Ilia Rose and then like a couple of emojis, hashtag Secret Zeldas or whatever. Yeah, I did something recently on there. I made my own. The challenge was to create what you think the Hylian Knight's code is, like what their ceremony is or whatever. So I made my own long list of codes that a Hylian Knight would have to adhere to. Yeah.
You should make a video about that.
I only spent an hour again. I thought about that. I was like, how could I incorporate this? But I don't know. It didn't really have anything to do with Hyrule on its own. It's more like just my own variation of a Knight's Code. The ceremony had things that had to do with Hyrule itself. But, yes.
Alright, so what was your last YouTube video about that people can go check out?
My last YouTube video, ironically, was about mysteries in Legend of Zelda. When I started recording for the mysteries in Majora's Mask, I was like, LOL, my next video is about this. I listed my top 5 mysteries that frustrate me throughout the Legend of Zelda. Most of them were Ocarina of Time. But yeah, I talk about mysteries like Goron reproduction. What is that?
They throw rocks at each other. Alright. Daniel, who are you? And why should we care about you?
Well, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at CaptBurgerson, CaptBurgerson. And also, I have a site called Burgerson Media or burgers.com, which is a shared channel between myself and some other collaborators, and I have intentions to actually upload things there again at some point, but there is a nice playlist there. You can go watch some videos I've worked on there. Otherwise, I am also here every week. Jesse! He's back.
It froze up on me, so I exited out and came back in. But continue.
But yes, every single week on this very podcast, you can find me here, and that's where I'm the most active of all the things. So please come hang out. We love having you guys come and tune in and everything else. So that's all I have to say. Back to you, Jesse.
All right. I am Jesse. Game over Jesse. Actually, Brett commented on Instagram because I took a picture of, like, I was watching Tevi's live stream on my TV while I was editing, and I took a picture and posted it, and he was like, so when are you going to rebrand the channel for, like, everyone, so it's not just, like, my name? And I was like,
Game over everyone.
Yeah, I was like, maybe. I don't know how to, like, I don't even know if I would be able to, like, change the URL from, like, I don't know.
I don't know, but we're all here because of you.
It's a thought.
That's true.
You're the Game Over Jesse.
It is your channel.
So that's the weird thing is, like, so I got the name Game Over Jesse as inspiration from one of my favorite YouTube people, Greg Miller, or Game Over Greggy, and I had him. He was one of the first interviews I did, which is crazy because he's also, even though we've had people from, like, Breath of the Wild and Like I had the drummer from the band Escape the Fate on the YouTube channel. By far the most famous person I've had on my channel was Greg. And I had him on my channel when my channel first began. And then like we kept in touch and everything casually over like a few years. But when we like the group was at E3, Daniel knows the story because he was there. Some of the people in the chat probably know because they've watched videos. But like whenever we ran into them, it wasn't just me being like, hey, you're blah blah blah. Like they got excited to meet me as well. And like meet my group, and it was really cool.
It was really fun.
Cause like they're
Jesse.
Yeah, I was
the
like,
one person called just like, hey, this is Game Over Jesse, guys. it was exciting.
Yeah, so like she was getting excited to see. She was their I guess you could call her like she's their social like media person, like their
publicity
assistant. Yeah. And then like half the group was with her, and she got excited and stuff, and then the other half were like coming from the bathroom or the restroom. So whenever they came up, and then we noticed each other, and then they got all excited, and we took pictures, and I was excited, and I think everyone is excited except Daniel and Kayla. But then they got excited whenever Daniel seen the completionist, right?
Oh
yeah, I got very...
And I
kind of froze up. And the Nintendo Minute guys, Kit Ellis and Krista.
Yeah, I didn't know who...
I got a little, I froze up a little, got excited just about that, so...
I didn't know who the completionist was, but I seen Daniel running, so I just ran behind him.
Yeah, well, Gibbs as well had, like, this intense power walk. I don't even know, I was, like, to keep up, and he's, like, just walking somehow.
Yeah.
So...
And then he complimented Gibbs's beard.
Yeah. No, that was a highlight.
Legend over Jesse, RPG says. No, it has to be something without my name, RPG. That's
how people know you.
So, the most important thing today, aside from getting to talk to Daniel, Ilya, and Kayla, Jonathan, I don't know how to pronounce his name. Sorry. I imagine it's like Jonathan without the H. He made, and it might be the Jonna from across the river, or John from across the river, in the question that we answered earlier. That might be the same person. But he has his own YouTube channel. Quick story about him, because he made the fan art. I seen, whenever someone's constantly commenting on my videos and I recognize their names, I will go and check out their channel. That's how I met Jonathan, who made the fan art. That's how I met Holly Wolf, because they'll comment on the videos a lot, and then people will comment on their comments and be like, oh my god, you're a fan of this person too? And they'll be like, yeah, I've watched his videos. So yeah, that's how we met Holly, and that's how we met Jonathan and some other people. And Jonathan recently made fan art that we made into shirts, so if you want to go buy the cool shirt that has me and Ilya and then Daniel and Kayla, wait, how does it go? Ilya, me, Daniel, and Kayla. So go buy the shirt. It's really cool. Or you can just buy like a sticker.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's really cool. And I got so excited when I saw that posted. I was like, so
that picture made my day.
Seriously, you really did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
thank you,
if
Jonathan.
any of you guys make fan art, maybe it'll turn into shirts too. But yeah, that's the last thing I wanted to say. I just wanted to give a story about the shirt, and then story about the username. Everywhere I'm Game Over Jesse. YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, the Facebook fan page is Game Over Jesse as well. Although the title for it says Zelda News and Theories, but it's the Game Over Jesse Facebook page, because it has like 7,000 likes, and then the other one has like 100. So we just use the Zelda News ones. Anyways, I'm just mumbling. I'm sorry. Ilya, do you want to say bye to everybody?
Bye, everybody.
Daniel,
would you?
Bye. I do. I'm sorry. I got ahead of myself there. Goodbye, everybody.